Man, how am I gonna start this pod?
I don't know. I so don't envy you.
There's so many things.
I was premature. It was pretty much. Did you see me like, fuck?
It was like me. I was like, one time I like didn't close out a porn after beating my wang. And so I opened it one day. I just opened my phone one day in class because I had like the morning off. I had like a block off in the morning. And I just opened my phone in science. It was just straight up porn. And I was like, no, please.
I did that once. This is the cold open now, by the way.
It simply has to be.
I did that once. I was at Apple Fest in Ithaca.
Where else would one be? The center of the universe.
And my mom texted me and she was like, trying to get into the old laptop. What's the password? And I was like, not dealing with that right now. I'm at Apple Fest.
Yeah.
And so I ignored it. And then like 10 minutes go by and she was like, figured out the password. Pornhub, Dan? Really? And I texted her. I was like, at Apple Fest, can't talk. Sorry about the porn.
So sorry about that. Like, that's God, my biggest. It's not my biggest fear because like my mom knows. You know, every mother is aware. You have to be. My thing is like, what era was Nick in? Like, it's like I just hope like if you're gonna see my porn, I just hope it's the vanilla stuff. That's all I need. Like it's like loving couple caresses each other like for 30 minutes after coitus.
Kiss maybe.
Question mark. Yeah, like a soft hand touch across an alleyway or something.
Yeah, not your sex swing exclamation.
Yeah, not like 7 Germans in a dungeon. like, do not need that. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Yes, it's on another girlfriend special because Nick is back from China. He made it back. China was awesome. It was really cool. Is this trademarked? I genuinely don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, go on.
So, for those of you who aren't informed of what's happening there, this is actually a joke that only exists between me and Danny, and it's very new.
Yeah.
So this is another insider joke for all of you who want to stay in the loop here. But I sent Danny a sound. I think it was just like AI generated images, and it was just like the poopiest sound.
It's the caption is frog type beat.
Yeah, there we go.
And all the comments are like, this is the wettest music I've ever heard, and I've made it my theme song. I really love it.
Danny is now like trying to implement a literal soundboard into his own life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to China. It was awesome. Spent like 2.5 weeks there. Went to Hong Kong, Macau, Guangzhou. Hung out with Dorothy's parents. Ate a bunch of Chinese food. Absolutely demolished a burrito. First thing I did when I got back.
Yeah.
Listen. Boy, do I love Chinese food.
Oh,
there's so much variety.
Say something controversial. Say what we're all thinking.
But for 2.5 weeks, I was like, I would fight a child for a burger right now. Like I would.
Do they not have variety? Like they don't have like American restaurants out there?
There's KFC and there's Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is, but like, here's the thing. Pizza Hut there is a fancy Italian restaurant.
That's hype.
Like it's also like nice chairs.
Yeah.
There's like waiters. They're like, oh, you get a pizza. You can get like pasta. You can get steak. You can get steak on a hot stone at Pizza Hut. And then it's like if you want a burger, you go to KFC.
Right.
That's where you go.
That's wild.
Yeah, and
that's so crazy.
And their KFC gas way better than ours. Like way better. But it's like I was like, I want Mexican food so goddamn badly. So
that's so weird considering McDonald's is in every goddamn anime. Oh, China, that's
very different places.
Wow,
yeah.
Now I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Wow. In every manhwa, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, wait.
I'm right.
Manhwa's Korean. We'll keep trying. God, I hope that picks up on the mic.
Yeah, I'll face the mic next time.
Every time Nick gets like way too wet for the podcast, it's just like because like we did the girlfriend special and everyone like one of my favorite comments was like, you can tell it's a good like it's gonna be a good episode when Nick starts insta sweating, and I'm just like every time I start like soaking into a puddle, that just needs to play. He's like subtly like until I get drenched.
It's like the Planet Fitness lunk alarm.
Oh yeah,
you ever hear of that?
Oh yeah. The thing is, if we start like yelling out when Nick gets sweaty, it's only gonna make the problem worse. I'm telling you right now.
I'm well aware.
So I am still jet lagged. It's 7 o'clock, like maybe 6 o'clock in the morning in China right now. I got about 5 hours of sleep. So I'm gonna be loose today. I'm gonna be real loose.
You're always loose. It always makes me nervous.
Yeah, I just drank a whole Red Bull. My mouth is dry, and we're hanging out. There's more, which is what's good, is that this is the most
fucking falling apart.
It's the most anime we've ever had to talk about in the history of the pod.
Yeah.
So it's a good day for Nick's brain to just be like 7,000 miles away.
Correct.
My original cold opening was going to be anime fans. Pretty notoriously horny, right?
Yeah, for sure.
This might be... this might be the horniest week in anime history.
Really?
I think so. I
In
think
what
it's up
regard?
there. And this might be a reflection of myself and my FYP. But we saw the new JJK episode, right? We all...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back on track.
Boy, oh boy. The gays and the gals are, I mean, feasting currently.
It's so warranted, though. Here's why.
Yeah.
Should we just get right into that?
I think we should just, because there's also so much else to talk about. We should get the, like, listen, I'm still kind of chubbed up from it out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is our chub corner.
You just have to adjust, like, the little secret for like the boys out there growing, going through puberty and all of that.
Oh
who
my
listen to the
God,
pod.
where is this
Sometimes
going?
just address the chub. Just be like, I'm gonna don't have cock shame.
Never address the job. Never. If I had like a full lifelong like flashback montage of every time that I could have addressed the chub.
Tucked one into a waistband. Yeah.
I like every time like my Spanish teacher was like, Danny, you're up next. And I was like, but I'm hard. And if I was just like, hola, yo estoy hard. I would have been expelled so fast.
I just threw up. Oh,
You threw up. You should have pulled trigger for the bit. If in the first 10 minutes you threw up, this would have been the best podcast episode of any podcast.
Fucking chubbo.
Yo estoy chubbed as a fucking rock, baby.
Oh, fuck. Don't address the chub.
Don't.
If you're publicly a JJK fan, you might be dealing with one currently.
How do you address the chub? Like, imagine because another flashback. I'm like at prom, or I was at homecoming. This girl
You should have a boner at I'm sorry. You should have a boner at prom.
I was at homecoming with like no date, and this girl, the slow dance happened.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, and the slow dance happened, and this girl came up to me, and she was like, "We're gonna slow dance." And we start slow dancing. What was I to be like? Hey, you chub too? You chubbing up?
Thank you for choosing
Yeah.
me for this.
Yeah.
My penis is so hard right now.
Hey, you cracking a chub here, or is that just me?
It's really bad advice. It's really, excuse me, teacher.
Teacher,
I'm hard.
Teach, I'm chubbing up. Can you go to Lexi instead?
Can we stop talking about fractions? For some reason, it's doing it for me.
Well, that's the thing. It's always like a no reason boner in high school.
You're just sitting. You're like, where the fuck did you come from? Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Nanami.
Nanami.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone is simping over the bit where Nanami grabs the dude's hair and like pulls his face to him.
Yeah.
I think the tension begins on the shot of Nanami's watch.
Okay.
There's a shot of Nanami walking, and it's just a shot of his watch and a little bit of his like tucked in shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy fuck, this looks like a Gucci ad.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I was like, oh, I loosened the tie a bit, you know?
A little steamy in here.
Yeah, a little pop in the collar here.
And then the wrapping of the tie around the hand.
Oh, yeah.
Just sex. Just sex. It's just an unnecessary move.
Just sex on a platter, babe.
It genuinely is.
No, it's very intense. He's so cool. I didn't like him at all in season 1 because his critical hit nonsense is
5/7 is insane. Yeah.
It's so like the mangaka of JJK loves math powers. And so whatever, and it's this weird critical hit video game power. But like this sold me on Nanami. He was so like badass and fucking ready to dom.
They also like in the manga, he's just not even nearly that wide.
That's what
He's just not even close to that
I heard. He
wide.
doesn't even grab the dudes. Like none of that's in it.
No,
he just
grabs him by
asks
like the
man,
back of the head.
Yeah, like at something.
Oh, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
they were just
absolutely.
like, let's make him like my. I'm gonna be real. What did it for me is when he gets kicked and he's like, "That's a wall," and I'm like, It's like, that's man shit. It's like you tried to cut him and kick him and you couldn't move his ass.
Yeah, this dude's putting up walls, baby. You're not getting anywhere near this dude emotionally.
And I just like, TikTok has been vile. Like, TikTok hasn't been this horny since Asterion came out.
Asterion? What is that?
BG3?
BG3,
Yeah, like
I was still on anime.
This section of TikTok, like the Venn diagram between Romance the Asterion and is now currently making thirst edits about Nanami is just a circle.
Yeah.
Like that is like, it is hitting one specific group of people and they are feasting.
It's the same like type of lust where it's just like fucking hot dom professor energy.
Bingo.
If Nanami was British, like that would only send it further over the edge.
I feel like that'd be worse.
Yeah?
Oh, way worse.
Like hornier or less horny?
Way less horny.
Really? I feel like that's why people like Asterion. Asterion's not even good looking. It's the voice.
I don't know if I agree with you there. But okay, here's the thing.
Asterion looks like Mark Twain.
Okay, here's the thing, and this is on me for comparing Asterion and Nanami. I feel as though they're very dissimilar. I feel like Asterion and Nanami subscribe to different levels of hotness. Asterion is like, it's like what's that? It's like Riverdale, but in the 1800s.
Bridgerton?
There we go.
Yeah.
He's like Bridgerton hot. He's like, oh, you've touched my hand. Oh, you're so sweet. Now let me suck your blood.
Notice
that kind of
what
thing.
accent you're doing.
Well, okay, but that's Asterion, right?
Yeah, right.
Nanami is like, you've been a bad girl. Like that kind of thing. Like, and I swear to God, if a British dude was like, oi, you've been naughty, eh? Like, I'd fucking beat us down immediately.
Here's the thing, though. You're doing two different Brits. Like, you're doing Cockney versus, like, fancy-dancy Brit.
Yeah, but
like, Asterian's not like, oi, let me get at that blood. You know? Like,
hey, give me a bit of that neck.
Yeah. Also, tell me this doesn't look like Asterion.
That is fully Mark Twain.
That's Mark Twain.
Yeah.
He looks like Asterion.
It does not look like that. Like, not even at all.
Okay.
Love that for you, though. Really do. But, like, I don't know if Nanami wasn't, like, first off, his VA.
Yeah.
Him speaking, it's just
It's
deep
a hot
voice.
VA, for sure.
There's no such thing as a deep voiced British person.
Have you ever watched Mad
They
Men?
all P.
They're not.
There's no-
Asterian's not.
There's
Gale's not.
oh yeah, I got the Billy Butcher. That's the
Yeah,
only deep voiced British man in the history of British men.
Give
Because
him
he's
that
like,
voice.
oi, fuck you, Homelander. But like even that, it's not cute. It's Cockney.
You're doing Cockney. That's
but,
what I mean.
you can't do-
Watch an episode of Bridgerton.
You can't do cute. You can't do cute like
Nanami's
sexy
not
British.
cute. He's sexy.
You can't do deep British without Cockney.
Give me a line.
You've been a bad girl.
Oi! You've been a bad girl.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's my Tom Holland.
And everybody, yeah, that's your Tom Holland.
That's my Tom Holland.
Notoriously never plays a Brit in every single movie
He's
ever.
a British man. In real life.
Man is a
He's
man is a stretch.
He's a British boy.
He's like my height in age, and I'm like, that's a boy.
Yeah.
That is not. There will never be a man. That is a boy. So I grow more hair on 1 square inch of my body than I've ever seen on his.
He's for sure like a little Lord Fauntleroy type of boy.
No idea what that means, but I really like that.
Saying words.
Yeah, a Fauntleroy just sounds like a word you made up to make fun of British people. Like Fauntleroy sounds like a British slur. You're like, all right, Fauntleroy, go back to your fish and chips. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Use that.
Yeah, take that
8th
out of
grade
context.
bullies.
For all the British kids that end up in your school. No, but Nanami, Asterion, both hot.
Yeah.
Different kinds of hot.
Yeah. Should we transition right into JJK or talk about other
We should probably
horniness
talk
going on?
about JJK. Lead with
Gotcha.
JJK.
Okay.
We have so much to talk about, by the way. Just a quick
have a
preview
ton.
here. Nocturne came out, Castlevania.
Yeah.
Kengan Ashura's newest season came out. I watched that. There was also Shangri-La Frontier, which both me and Danny watched. Under Ninja came out, which is
which no one has heard of.
We'll get into it. Dr. Stone's new season came out, only 1 episode thus far. Bleach's last 2 episodes came out, 25, 26. Undead Unluck came out with its first 2 episodes, and Tokyo Revengers came out with its 2 first episodes of I think what's gonna be its last season. But
Also, we're 3 JJK episodes behind. We haven't talked about the last 3.
No way. I genuinely couldn't tell you what happened in the episode before this.
Really?
Was that Gojo getting sealed? We talked about Gojo getting sealed.
There's been 2 episodes since. They fight a strong boy with Inverse.
Oh, yeah.
And then before that, in between Gojo getting sealed and the Inverse fight, nothing happens for half an hour. There is there's an episode where fucking nothing happens. It's just the girl with the big ponytail in front of her face, whom I hate. Hate her dumb ponytail face.
Would love to get into this.
Get it out of there.
It is a dumb ponytail.
It's a whole episode of her being like, we gotta go rescue Gojo. And nothing else happens.
They're like, oh, this veil is doing this, so we need to get to this veil, so you need to go to this station, and
It's like a slideshow episode.
It's literally, okay, here's the thing. Gegege is a great mangaka for people like me.
Yeah.
The people who need to be like, okay, why are we going here? What ability are we using? Like, why would you need to be here? Like, how are we strategizing? How does your ability play into this? What's the overall strategy? And like, he'll give like a whole fucking chapter of that. And like, people like me will be like, this is incredible. And like, your standard manga and anime watcher will be like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
My roommate walked in and like drummed up a conversation with me, and I was like, oh, I'll like rewind afterwards. Talked to him for like 5 minutes, came back. The exact same conversation was that. Just yapping.
Just fucking Queen of Yapperton.
Just an absolute council meeting of Yapperton. Like, just a city hall meeting going on.
Her curse technique. Yapping. Absolute yapping. So the inverse episode, I actually really liked. So I do have notes about all of this actually.
Okay.
But I think so. Toji is back.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming you're excited about.
I am, but it's so dumb how he's back.
Okay.
Because he's just like, I don't know. I would hope that there's like a scene with fake Ghetto being like, I set that up. Like, I plan to have you come back. No, because it's dumb that he just like on top of all this, like the what's the town? The Shibuya incident is so well coordinated and so elaborate that for Toji to just coincidentally
like
come back on that,
like the fourth strongest person in the universe to just appear
for just like coincidentally tonight is the worst night ever.
Yeah,
is so weird and like random to me.
I understand where you're coming from there. My thing is, though, so obviously you haven't read the manga, but like, it is absolutely bonkers that it's like, oh yeah, thanks to the seance, Grandma, and now Toji is here.
Yeah.
Also, how did, like, I guess it's like not that hard to get a part of his body, because like, they didn't even clean up Ghetto's body. They were just like, oh yeah, here, Ghetto, just like go hang out, and then Kenjaku just like wandered over and was like, oh, free body, I guess.
Nobody shows up to clean shit up.
There is no biological hazard like task force that comes and like scoops the body into like big red bags, because like everybody is just like free for disposal. But like, so Toji is back. Toji plays a really big role in the Shibuya incident, and every single time he shows up, it's sick. And also this whole kind of thing where we're like, oh, not only are we having Nanami like grab people by the back, like their ponytail and all that, now Toji is back. So like the Shibuya incident, while it is incredibly traumatic, and that trauma is probably going to start somewhere around next week.
Okay.
Also, it's good for if you like big muscular men, you know?
I do. I'm happy Toji's back. It's a weird, strange way for him to come back, but him being back is always going to be a plus because he rules.
Yeah. And
him just popping up behind the woman, exquisite.
So my note on that was, So my note on that was like him moving silently. The choice to make like no sound for that whatsoever and him just appear behind her silent. I was like, that's
really good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So good. Like, it's just like so intimidating. Like, you're just like, of course, like he's moving so fast that you wouldn't be able to perceive that kind of thing. Outside of that, that episode, so the inverse technique is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see Megami and like Yuji fight together.
The protagonist.
Yikes.
Look, I'll say it right now.
Oh, do it, please.
I'm sure we're in like kind of a transition period in the Shibuya incident because the first like 7 or 8 episodes this season.
All Gojo.
All Gojo, all amazing. Really good. Now that Gojo is gone, the show is no longer as good anymore. And it's funny that you forgot
Yuji's name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yuji's name.
We're both kind of going through it. What are you eating?
I know.
What are you eating?
Making noises. I think he ate the little tripod.
God, why are you like this?
I hate seeing you treat your dog like he's a T-Rex and you're King Kong.
I'm sorry. I don't want him to eat plastic. Sometimes I have to yank his mouth open.
But no, it's like, yeah, the inverse episode was like pretty cool. It's more math combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, like he has to be hit with a certain amount of like, because here's the thing. You're right. It's a perfect example of Kengan Katami like playing to power scalers.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, there has to be a certain limit, because if it worked, like if it was like if we just like flicked him on the nose, he would like absolutely get blown to smithereens.
Yeah.
And then Megumi is like, no, there has to be like a limit.
Yeah, there's thresholds.
Yeah, because like if there's not a threshold, then air pressure would kill him immediately.
Yeah, right.
And it's like that is a thing that only every like power scaler would just be like, well, how does this technique? Like,
Yeah.
there's technically always very light pressures being applied to him, and that's just a thing. That's a thing that he thinks of, and he's like, oh, 7 people are going to be really happy about this, and I'm one of them, I guess. But like,
I liked the air resistance thing.
Yeah.
I was like, neat.
Yeah.
Like, I bet, because you make it sound like it's something that the mangaka, which I will never say his name because it sounds like a fucking burden.
Tommy.
Yeah. It sounds like, or you make it sound like he's like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I over explain everything? I think before writing manga, he was a Redditor.
Oh,
and he
for
just
sure.
knows the sharks will come after him.
This is the most on Reddit forums man to ever write a successful story. Like he's like literally he's like, oh, he was in chat rooms just screaming at people about like how Goku absolutely destroys like other people's universes.
Yeah.
And like, oh, because like this power negates this power and that kind of thing. But I feel like he's almost gotten himself into the situation where he's like, oh, I've written too many things and now I kind of forget how everything works.
Yeah.
Because like there'll be just times where like Gojo's Infinity in his most recent battle, like kind of got like, not like retconned, but like very much changed in what we believed it to do.
Right.
And like the changes are always explained, but it's like you laid out a set of rules for us that were like very concrete and detailed. And then like 30 chapters later, you're like, oh, those rules are gone, but because there's new rules.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I guess that's fine. And so it's like you have to keep up with like what the most current iteration of rules is. But it's wild. So yeah, I don't even remember his name.
Who?
The inverse guy.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I never learned it to begin with.
I don't even know if they tell you.
I have no idea. It was like, okay, it's like on par with like the big cicada guy.
Yeah.
It's better. It's a little better than that. But I mean, like these past 3 episodes have been sort of like that. Like I'm not as hyped that it's JJK Day.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's like transitioning into more hype shit, which it sounds like it is.
I mean, I think this most recent episode was the best out of those 3.
Yeah.
I think because like obviously you have your Nanami bit, and then you have like the inverse guy being defeated. You have Mei cutting that dude up. That was this episode, right? Where she did the big braid walk.
Yes,
that was like the most like overly dramatic walk in the history of so long too.
Yeah, just
so long.
swaying her fucking horse tail of a hair.
So what is your beef with Mei exactly?
I hate the hair.
Okay.
I hate her. I hate Noelle's brother who has the stupid hair in Black Clover.
Oh, Asier Silva. Yeah.
I hate a front pony. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I get that like every hairstyle's been done by now in anime. You don't have to work that hard to be quirky and different.
With her, I feel like it kind of makes sense because she can tap into the crow's eyes with her eyes, maybe, and that's why she covers them. Asier Silva, no excuse whatsoever.
Yeah. They look like literal horse asses. Like I just hate that they have a big braided tail in their face.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like maybe it's gorgeous under it, and you're like, okay, let's see the face every once in a while.
She's also like, I don't like her brother thing.
Yeah.
Her brother did make me laugh today with his clapping.
The applause,
he did a really like choppy, aggressive clap. That was so funny.
That was very good.
I also like, speaking of humor, I like when Nanami is beating the shit out of that guy, and the dude's about to have his like sword hand come and stab Nanami. And the girl, Nobara, like stops it. She like nails it with her little nails. And the guy on the ground's like, read the room, lady. I thought that line was really funny.
JJK has very underrated humor, I feel like. It's like in Yuji and Megumi, like their back and forth makes me very happy. For the moment, you know, like I said, like the trauma begins in a couple of episodes here. But like, so like the humor definitely, like, I feel like everyone, like, there is going to be moments later on, but like these next 2 episodes really signal like when the humor leaves JJK in its entirety. And it's just like, it's like, it just gets really serious, really dark, and a lot of people die.
I have a hot take. I do think season 2 has been funnier than season 1.
Okay.
But when you say the humor is underrated, I think JJK's humor is on par with Totally Spies.
Okay.
It's just every time.
I'm really curious as to how you go here, because fucking loved
Dude,
Totally
you love
Spies.
Totally
Yeah,
Spies.
I loved Totally Spies.
Anytime Yuji, every joke Yuji makes feels like a Totally Spies joke. Like they cut to the like bright blue background, they're doing the little like chibi like dances, and it's like always some weird meta like oh, let's do this at the mall, like this and that. Like he just feels like a Totally Spies character to me.
I love that. What a deep reference.
I know.
That and what was that show where they were all in the mall?
16?
Was it called 16?
Was it where it's like, I'm 16, starting to find my way, got a new job, gonna na 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 na.
I don't remember the intro song.
Okay.
I just remember they were
There's
in
a
a
dude
mall
with
constantly.
a beanie named Jude. He's got blonde hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
16.
That also incredibly underrated comedy in that
Yeah,
show.
I used to love that show.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good. Both of them somewhat sexual awakenings for me. That and
Hot shows.
what was
You're gonna keep
what was
going.
what was the sexy robot show?
My life as a teenage robot.
That's when I knew I was sick.
Stop making
That's
me
when I
do
knew
that.
I was sick. As a child, that robot was way too sexy.
Jenny was hot. Don't
was so
put a
hot.
robot in a crop top.
That
Like,
was,
what are you
that was
doing?
a wild thing to do. Crossed my wires in a big way. All right, so a lot else has happened. Like I said, we have a huge look ahead for the winter 2024 season. So much going on. I do want to touch on a couple of things before we head into our look ahead because we have so much anime to talk about. I have some slight news that I want to get ahead of here that came out like a week and a half ago, and I was like, I'll make a TikTok about that. And then I was on vacation, and I was like, fucking no.
Sure.
So Hunter x Hunter's manga is coming back. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
For a week.
yeah, who knows, dude? Honestly,
Until somebody steps on a crack and snaps him in half
yeah,
again.
literally, I've been avoiding them. Like it's so hard with hardwood floors.
Cursed this poor guy.
I don't know, man. He did because he's on chapter 400
Yeah.
of his manga, and it's like you could have like Yu Yu Hakusho. His first manga is like 130
Yeah.
chapters.
This poor guy probably has like 6 other manga he'd love to write
Yeah.
and is stuck
And it's just like
finishing Hunter
like,
x Hunter.
waist deep in Hunter x Hunter. And the
Yeah.
problem is he's just like started to embark. The worst part is it's not like, oh, the ending is in sight. He is just like in the middle of embarking to the biggest arc in his manga's history.
Damn.
Like he revealed that the entire world is 6 islands, and on the outside of those 6 islands is a massive lake. And they
Yeah.
thought that was the entire world. But on the outside of that lake, there's something known as the Dark Continent, which is like 100 times bigger than the entire world. And currently, all of the strongest characters from the manga are going to the Dark Continent to like embark on what should be like the war arc, or
Yeah.
like you know, like your
Right, yeah.
Cell arc, like your Cell saga, like the biggest arc in the manga's history, and he's in shambles.
Is there a fear that like, you know, however long ago it was that he set that up and he's like, they're off to the Dark Continent, the biggest arc in the manga's history. Is there a fear that Hunter x Hunter comes back next week and he's like, the boat sank.
That's what I'm fucking.
The boat sank and then they have a party.
Dude, that's
the
what I'm saying.
end.
That's what I'm fucking. That would be so. I would cry laughing. It
Yeah.
would be so. Because I just think, I don't care how Hunter x Hunter ends at this point. Genuinely, like I'm beyond giving a shit because I've already consigned myself to the reality that we probably won't see the end of it, right? So, but to give context to what I'm talking about here, and I'm not just extrapolating, the mangaka of Hunter x Hunter has a Twitter account that he's, you know, all updates come from the Twitter account, and so basically every couple of months we get a cryptic tweet of a picture of a couple of like pages, and he's like 01 is written in the bottom corner, and he's like restarting or starting again.
It's like every other week you get an image of that, and then every other week you get like an X-ray of his spine.
Yeah, and he's like, never mind. Every pencil is
the
50
shape of a
kilograms.
5, like-
Yeah. He's like, I swear to God,
Yeah.
pencils are my kryptonite. But he tweeted, like, so obviously last December, is the last time that we got a new chapter. So like around Christmas, we got 10 new chapters last year. And so he kind of had like a falling out with Shonen Jump where he was like, I need to find a system because like they're like, oh, you're gonna do 1 chapter a week, right? For us, like now that you're back, and he's like, fuck no. Like I'm like, I just did 10 chapters and my back is in shambles. So he kind of like got dropped by Shonen Jump, and he's like, I'm gonna figure out my own distribution system. Like I'm gonna go at my own pace here.
Right.
So he tweeted a couple of weeks ago, like a week and a half ago, that he's like, I'm starting from like ground zero here. So there's new chapters on the way for Hunter x Hunter.
Nice.
We don't know the pace at which they're going to be released, but that's the thing. All of the important characters are currently on one boat. They're
Right.
on a thing called the Black Whale that holds 250,000 people. It's on its way to the Dark
My
Continent.
God.
it would be so fucking funny if he sunk it. I was thinking the
Yeah.
exact same fucking thing. I was just like,
He's
I
like,
was
fuck it.
I was like, we hit a rock. Oh no. And it's
Yeah.
like, there's like a scene where like Kurapika is trying to hold on to like Hisoka on like a door and one of them
Yeah.
has to let go. And then Kurapika floats back to the V6 countries. And then
Yeah.
that's it. It's like him, Killua, Leorio, and Gon go out to dinner and they're like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm going to rest now.
I know. I would love if he's just like, oops, it sank. Yu Yu Hakusho 2 coming out next month.
You want more Yusuke? Like, yeah. Like, fucking absolutely. Give me more Urameshi.
Yeah.
I would find that hilarious because, like I said, like, when you're consigned to the future being nothing, it being hilariously bad I feel like, I don't know. Do I actually feel that way, though? Because
No,
here's the
you
thing.
don't.
Imagine Game of Thrones, like, season
I was
7.
just going to use Game of Thrones.
They were like, season 7, they're like, oh... George died. George is dead. We can't do it anymore. Would that be better? Would it be better to get no ending or a terrible ending?
Only if they deliver it like that. Oh, oops.
Oh.
George died accidentally.
Oh.
No one look into it. It was an accident.
He fell on the knife a bunch of times. It was his cousin.
No.
I like to
I
think
think people would be pissed. And then I think someone would get Brandon Sanderson, who I'm sure you don't know.
Oh, I do. You want to know why I know Brandon Sanderson? I found out about him today because I was on Spotify. I had 302 emails to respond to. Yeah, I've been gone for 2.5 weeks, 302 emails. And I was like on Spotify, I was like putting on music. And for some reason, it was like audiobooks recommended to you. And there was like 6. 4 of them were by this motherfucker named Brandon Sanderson. And I was like, who is this dude?
Whoa,
Yeah.
I love Brandon Sanderson.
I have no idea who he is.
I could give you the brief rundown, and this is almost anime, actually. So he is a fantasy author. He's a Mormon fantasy author. The Mormon doesn't play a big part.
Oh, you sure?
Thankfully,
And all his main characters, 7 wives, hate bubbles.
But he's a fantasy author, like the biggest fantasy author currently outside of George R. R. Martin, who produces nothing.
Gotcha.
But Brandon
Genuinely fair.
Sanderson puts out so many goddamn books. Like, he puts out a book a year. He's got this massive, he's famous for what's called the Cosmere, which is like these 2 main series. You love this shit.
I'm listening.
These 2 main series. One is like his magnum opus. It's called Stormlight, and it's gonna be 10 books. There's 4 out now. They're ginormous. The 5th is coming out this year or next year. Hopefully.
So he was like, it's gonna be. He called his shot.
Yeah.
Can you imagine signing yourself up to write 10 fucking books?
Here's the thing. He's got the Stormlight Archive, big, massive magnum opus, 10 books. He also has.
Oh, so that's his thing.
He also has Mistborn, which is another series that he's been working on for years. I don't know how many books. I just started Mistborn. They connect. They're in the same universe on different planets. And they are now, after decades, starting to intertwine. And he's also got a bunch of other books. During COVID, he's been putting out a book each year. And during COVID, he came out and he was like, hi, I'm Brandon Sanderson. And that's how he talks. He's a big dork.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm Brandon Sanderson. And COVID has affected us all very differently. And I just wanted to let you guys know that with all of this extra time I've had, I wrote a book in secret. And he brings out like a bunch of pages. And he's like, also, I wrote a second book in secret. Boom, secret book 2. Boom, secret book 3. Boom! 4 secret books that he wrote. He wrote these 4 secret books that have been releasing every like 4 or 5 months over the past like year or 2.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
This man, he doesn't sound like he has a riveting social life, right?
He has a wife and children.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, what part of being a writer? Because it's not like he's going to the office to be a writer. He's not like, oh,
Right.
got to check it at WeWork to fucking like. He's sitting in an office writing books. He's a wildly successful like Arthur. Why did he have so much more free time with COVID? Like, it's like what?
He brought out, he is so like.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I did not have 4 books worth of fucking extra time.
On top of just writing your regular books.
What?
He like wheeled out a big thing. He was like, here's how I divide my time. And he had a big pie chart. And he was like, 40% is devoted towards writing books. 30% is devoted towards friends and family. This portion is devoted towards going to cons. This portion is devoted towards like free time. And then he wheeled out a second pie chart, and the friends and family sliver got way smaller. He was like,
here's why we have 4 secret books. I found out during COVID, my wife is a bitch.
So, I hate my wife. She sucks, and I wish she would die.
Yeah.
So I wrote a bunch of books. Well,
Don't keep asking why the wives keep dying in these secret books.
Well, and he's like, one of them I wrote for her birthday. And then which is so funny to me, and he's releasing it. He was like, I was just going to write it for her. And then he was like, she said I should release it. Can you imagine if I was like, hey, Sarah, I made this reaction video just for you. Is it good? And she's like, yeah, it's funny. Thank you. And it's like, what do you think other people would like it though? I mean, it's just for you, but like, should I release it though?
I mean, it'd take me like 700 hours. Like, it was like, there is like 1,200 pages to this reaction video. No, just for, you just want it for you. But
no, that's fair. I made it just for you, but it's my job, you know? Like, you took my work and are getting that for free. That's not really fair, is it?
It's just like, we have the 3rd kid on the way, and like, it's like private school isn't super cheap. It is just, I think this birthday present might have been a little like too much for me to bite off. So maybe we do. No, just for you. Okay, cool. I'm going to change the title and release it.
Yeah, but anyway, like, if I could find what it's called,
How did we get onto Brandon Sanderson?
Well, because he, the author of, you were like, if George R. R. Martin died, Game of Thrones would be done.
Yeah.
The author of the Wheel of Time series died. They got Brandon Sanderson to finish it. They would do that with Game of Thrones, I'm sure.
I think that would probably be for the best.
I am certain. But also, Sanderson just came out with a new book. It was one of the secret projects called Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. And it is very influenced on some fucking anime I've never heard of.
Okay.
I wish I could find it. But anyway, we'll stop talking about Brandon Sanderson. But he is so up your alley in terms of like, you would have so much shit to like theorize and make videos on and shit like that. Like, and it's so anime.
I should be going Brandon Sanderson, YouTuber. Here's the universe. Figure it out, motherfuckers.
Dude, let me tell you this. The power system of Mistborn is like one of the best in literature where it's like metal based. So there are these allomancers who can swallow metals and they burn them in their stomach. And that like does a power. So like if you swallow some pewter, for example, and then burn it, you become super strong.
Okay.
And they all have sister metals. So like there's one that's like a pull metal. You get to pull metal objects, and then one you push metal objects. And so really good allomancers carry a bunch of coins on them, and they use both the push and pull metal to fly. Like they have a bunch of coins around them, and they're constantly bouncing off the coins to fly around with a bubble of coins around them.
That's pretty sick.
Anyway.
That's pretty cool.
Let's move on. This was not even planned, and we still like... We don't have time. We don't have time.
We don't have Brandon Sanderson time, motherfucker. Our sliver of Brandon Sanderson needs to be so much smaller.
God.
But anyways, I do want to quickly talk about Kengan Ashura because I got COVID on the way to China.
Fuck.
This is not something I told you.
On the way to China.
On the way
that
to
sucks.
China, I got COVID. Or I got COVID at Lost Lands. I don't know. I went to Lost Lands before I went to China. We came back. Did you get COVID?
No.
Did you ever get COVID?
No.
They probably got it on the way to China because it's either I got it at Lost Lands, which then I would have seen you and did the podcast in the one day I was in LA. I mean, I also could have just
It
not
takes
been.
a bit. You got right back from Lost Lands, and then we did this. It takes like 3 or 4 days to become contagious. Or 2 or 3, rather.
So I'm in Taipei, feeling awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool, we have a 6-hour layover. I fall asleep on a couch. I wake up like after this couch, the most disoriented I've ever been in my entire.
You're in China.
I was in Taipei. I was a 2-hour flight from Hong Kong.
Gotcha.
Oh my god, dude, getting there was a nightmare. So first off, we took a 14-hour flight from LA to Taipei. I'm gonna bitch for a second. 14-hour flight from LA to Taipei. Taipei, we have a 6-hour layover. So I have a priority pass, which comes from a credit card I have. So we go into a lounge, and I like find these 2 like lounge chairs, push them together, make a mega bed, and I fall asleep on that for like 3 hours. Wake up. I swear to God, I thought I was playing a third-person video game. Like I wasn't in my body.
Yeah.
So and it's just like, okay, cool. I'm up. I'm like, I grab some food, and then we take the flight from we hang out for another couple hours. Take the flight from Taipei to Hong Kong. Apparently, there's a week-long holiday in China the week we get there. So everybody is going into China currently. It takes us 5 hours. The drive is usually 2.5 hours from Hong Kong to Guangzhou, where Dorothy's parents live.
Takes us 5.5 hours. And I'm also just disassociating on this bus, like absolutely dead to the world. By the time we get to her house, her parents' house, I am fucking dead. I'm coughing, I'm sneezing. I take a test. Like me and Dorothy fall asleep. I take a test the next morning. Like the rapid test is supposed to take 15 minutes to like manifest the bar. I'm the most COVID positive, most COVID positive a man's ever been. Like immediately. So I quarantined for like 5 days. And then, eventually like once I get a negative test, I'm able to like go see the world. I'm like, oh, cool. So happy I could spend 36 hours to get here and then spend a bunch of days in quarantine okay, here's the thing. China.
Yeah.
Great place.
Okay.
So cool. It's basically just America, but you have to use a VPN to access TikTok.
I can't imagine that's true.
I swear to God, if you replace,
I'm sure it's a very different from America.
LA and Guangzhou are the same fucking place.
Okay.
Like, I swear to God. Like, it's like, if you made every white person in LA Chinese.
Yeah.
And then all the non-white people in LA Chinese. Yeah. You would get Guangzhou. I can count the amount of people that weren't Chinese that I saw in Guangzhou probably on two hands. I was a spectacle. I like full snaps, full 180 snaps every time. Like I would see like people would walk past me, and as I was walking past them, they would twist their body to watch me walk as I walked by. It was insane. I felt like a fucking celebrity. Hong Kong, super different. Macau, super different. A lot of like racial minorities there. Right. But in fucking China, oh my God, it's an ethno state. Not that like no one is mean, but like, if you're not Chinese, you're going to get a look or two. Really cool spot though. But super can't use most American apps like Netflix and Crunchyroll. Right. And Dorothy's parents' house has the worst Wi-Fi known to man. So I had to watch almost all of the like Nocturne and Kengan Ashura on like my phone using LTE, and I only get like a certain amount of gigabytes a day. So half the time in bed, I'm just laying there like cold sweating because I'm just out of fucking data. Yeah. Awful. So I watched Kengan Ashura. We're not going to talk about it too much. It was very good. If you're looking for a good fighting anime, go watch Kengan Ashura. Like genuinely, like it's better than Baki. It has better fights. It has more fights than Baki. Yeah. There's no fucking stupid punch reaction bullshit. It's like two dudes get in a boxing, get in a ring, box it out for like 12 minutes. And like, sure, occasionally they'll be like, oh, he missed his eyes. Like they'll go to like poke his eyes or something. Oh, he missed his eyes. It's brutal. It's cunning. The choreography is gorgeous. It's the cleanest CG on Earth.
Wow.
And like, it's
better than Trigun?
It's close.
You make crazy statements without.
It's close. It's B-Stars. It's B-Stars Trigun level. Like I'm not going to say that any three of those is better than each other, but they're all like as good as I've ever seen CG.
Right.
So compelling storylines, really cool characters. Everybody has a different fighting style. Like some people are professional fighters, some are sumo fighters, some are boxers, those kinds of things. Like really, really good. So if you're looking for a good fighting anime, go watch Kengan Ashura. It's actually very good. Then I watched Nocturne because Nocturne came out a couple of days after that. How much did you see?
2 episodes.
Not enough.
No.
Not enough.
No.
It is so good.
Yeah.
So goddamn good. Oh my God, I want to talk all about it. How did you feel about the 2 episodes?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I don't think the writing, at least so far, is like on par with what I've seen of OG Castlevania. Okay. With like, I don't know, OG Castlevania was so like sharp and witty, and this is a little like leans towards millennial. Like it's not fully. There's a lot of like the swears are out of place sometimes. Like sometimes
I feel like that's kind of just that's a Castlevania thing. It's like Trevor always swears.
Well, yeah, it's a little more like it feels like Critical Role-ish. Some of the writing in this one. I love the French Revolution. I'm on a big French Revolution kick recently for some reason.
Okay,
I just downloaded AC Unity, Assassin's Creed Unity.
You threw out. I got it, but I was like, we are not in the same level of like.
More.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's French Revolution. I watched Les Mis recently. Like,
what's going on with you?
I don't know. I'm just like into it. Like,
listen, I'll go decapitate a billionaire right now with you if you want.
It's so cool. It's such a cool.
I think we should kill if we had public guillotinings of like corrupted like government officials.
Crazy. It's the one time in history the people won.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like that it takes place during that, and that like the bourgeoisie are vampires. The art. The art style is different from OG Castlevania. It's a little more like stained glass looking. Like the animation is so different.
Really?
You don't think so?
I didn't think it was that different. No.
It's a little different.
It might be like it's like more lit up, like there's more lights, because like obviously one takes place in the medieval ages and one takes place in the 18th
there's
century.
Like a texture to everyone. Like it looks like it's like almost watercolor paper. Yeah. That I found.
Okay.
It's gorgeous. I love the colors.
Yeah.
Colors are very pretty.
The animation is good. I just kind of forgot that like the fight choreography of the entire Castlevania, like everything in Castlevania is some of the best in anime, period. I kind of forgot that it's kind of choppy. Like it's like the fights, like you kind of notice that like the frame rate's not incredibly high.
Nah. You don't.
But it's not the end of the world. Like it's like not like I'm not like, oh my God, this destroys the anime. But I'm like definitely you can tell it's like, oh, this isn't as clean and as crisp as it could be. And at a certain point, I'm like, oh, it's probably because they're trying to pull off so much in this fight, like choreography wise, like Richter fighting against like 4 vampires simultaneously using like his whip and magic and all of that.
No, it's not like butter smooth like a JJK or anything else. But yeah, it's like, how do you feel about the characters opposed to OG Castlevania?
I mean, so here's my thing. I started off being like, I don't love these characters. I was like, oh, Richter isn't like nearly as endearing as Trevor. I straight up do not remember the blonde girl's name.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm going to be straight up and down with you. The only characters whose name I remember is Richter. Actually, that is literally, but then again, it's season 1.
Yeah.
So like, it's like season 1. I have 4 seasons with, you know, Sylpha?
I don't know.
Yeah, the girl, the speaker magic girl from, and then Trevor, but okay, anyways.
Alucard.
Yeah, Alucard, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, even then, like, I feel like that's just because that arc in Castlevania has the more iconic characters. It's got fucking Dracula.
It's got Dracula,
Alucard, you know, Trevor, I think it's Sylph, something like that.
I have no idea.
I don't remember. But then as the season went on, I found myself more and more attached to the characters because a lot of them are really compelling. Like the fact, so her friend, so there's the 2 people who come from the...
Spoilers or non-spoilers for viewers?
This happens in like the first episode. There's the 2 people who come from the islands. There's the opera singer and the slave.
I don't know their names.
Yeah. But like the opera singer getting turned into... Did you see this? It's not a crazy spoiler. What the opera singer
in episode 2, spoilers. The opera singer gets eaten by vampires.
Yeah. Okay. But he gets turned into a night creature.
Okay.
And so like he finds out that one of his abilities is that like through the power of his opera, he can actually like bring night creatures out of like being controlled, which is really cool. Like that was a cool like arc development for him. And then the ex-slave who's like, oh, I'm calling on like my ancestral gods from my mother or my father's side to have control over earth and metal. I thought was a really cool power that we didn't get in the previous Castlevania. Richter finds his magic again throughout the season. And I thought like his character development arc of like letting his mother go and like in order to become his strongest self was really cool. There was a fight scene in the end after he gets his magic back where like the way that like
where he gets his little brass knuckles.
Yeah, where speaker magic is used to like usually used for like long distance combat, you know, make it ice sickle and like cut people in half. Yeah. He literally just puts ice on his hands and just boxes motherfuckers. It was sick. It was so good.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I love some of the character designs. I like the ex-slave woman. She's very cool. And I also like the black vampire with the like purple hair.
Yes. When she slicks her hair back and turns into fire, that was fucking sick.
Very cool looking. Yeah, Richter looks like an 80s. He looks like Devilman Crybaby. He's got his little like dumb pointy hair, his dumb pointy little sideburns that go towards his cheeks.
I guess.
But that's just what Richter looks like. Like, I guess in the games.
Yeah.
He's a little dumb looking, but like, again, that's what he looks like. And the blonde haired girl, I'll never remember or care about just like, design-wise.
She's just like the side companion magician. Like that's just like every single... I do love, like, I liked her character. I liked her development arc throughout, because she also has like a really important thing come with like her lineage and how her mom plays into the story throughout the season. It's really good. I mean, I'm also a massive Castlevania fan.
Yeah.
I think I texted you and I was like, go watch Nocturne so you can understand why it's better than Arcane. I think
it's absolutely not true. I texted you and was like, did you watch Nocturne? And then you left me on red for like 2 days. And I was like, can I know if I have to watch this or not?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. COVID haze. Yeah. I'm gonna call that one out. COVID plus jet lag haze. It was good though.
Yeah.
The end is obviously the best part. Like once you build up, it's like 8 episodes. Once you build up through those 8 episodes, you get to the end. There's a big reveal at the end that's really sick, and I was like absolutely stoked to see it.
That's sick.
Very excited for season 2. But outside of that, yeah, like if you love, I think the way that like Nocturne is going to pan out is if you liked Castlevania, you're going to love it.
Right.
And if you're like, oh, I've seen bits and pieces of Castlevania, it's probably not as good as OG Castlevania. So like, if you're trying to dive into the universe, like, while this is like, it's not really connected to the OG Castlevania at all. Like, it's like Trevor's been dead for hundreds of years. The speaker magic is now a part of the Belmont family because of Trevor and the speaker, like having their kids and like repopulating the Belmont family. But like, that's it.
I think OG Castlevania is such a great intro because season 1 is just a movie.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Like, it's so great. Like, yeah, there's no, so far, but there's no, like, cool, I guess it's just, like, having Dracula is such a crutch. It's so unfair that they don't get Dracula in this one,
There's
you know?
that, and also the fact that, like, in season 1, everyone was, like, kind of riding with Dracula on this one. Like, he was like an incredibly convincing and like charismatic
Season
bad guy.
1's so good.
Yeah.
The priest, like the villain priest, is so good. Great voice actor. Dracula, I love that they turn him into like a scientist.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
It's like teleporting castle. Yeah.
It's super cool. And then season 2 is great because it's like they introduce like vampire politics. Like it kind of turns into Vinland Saga a little.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no with this other than like the rich being vampires. I don't love, there was like a line that was like, so I like half heard it. So like nobody come at me about this. I'm not making any hard stances. There was some line that was like, oh, all the slave owners were vampires.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's boring. Like,
Really?
I was like, that's silly and weird. I like that there was a slave. Like I was like, cool. This time period sucked.
Yeah.
For like a lot of different people. And I like that's a strong like backstory to have like in this kind of thing. I was like, that's cool. And if like her slave owner is a vampire, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But it's like
The fact that every single one.
yeah, all of them?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, you're like, okay, like humans can also be bad.
Well, that's why it's like season 1 of Castlevania is cool because you root for Dracula.
Yeah.
And it shows that humans are fucked too.
Yeah.
And so it's like all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Did
like
you ever
they're-
get to Alucard in Dracula's final battle? You didn't?
No.
Okay. So that's the thing. It's like, I definitely agree with you there. The weakness of Nocturne in comparison to Castlevania is the main antagonist. Because the main antagonist in this is like, oh, the vampire messiah.
Yeah.
She's like this like ascendant being who's like going to bring the eternal darkness or something so vampires can run the world. And it's like, fine. But you're like, okay, but what are her motivations outside of the fact like, oh, cool, she wants to run the world? Like that kind of thing is like, Dracula is such a layered, complex, interesting character who has to battle against the one person on Earth who has a chance at defeating him, his son, who is half of the woman who made him believe that like humans were worth living amongst, and then she was killed for being a witch. Because like that's what was happening in that timeline, because she was the one progressive thinker. And like everyone is like, he even gave the Wallachians a year to vacate. They're like, okay, I'll give you a year to vacate, and then like I am coming in numbers. And then he does. He does not let her death slide. And so Dracula is a way better antagonist, and I think Richter and Trevor are like, I think Richter and Trevor are like equally charismatic in season 1. Obviously, like Trevor probably has like some cooler fights because Trevor's more like he focuses on his Morning Star and his blades, and obviously Richter has magic and all of that, and like he has his potions. So it's like kind of a different fighting style, and I kind of do find Trevor's like more enchanting. But like honestly, I think Nocturne is, with the first season at least, as good as a follow-up to Castlevania as you could ask for, really.
I guess here's the weird part about, I agree with all that from what I've seen. But I just formulated more of like my reasoning that like all slave owners are vampires thing is
Go
weird.
back to it.
Why are they all so racist then? Just coincidentally, vampires are racist? Like it's...
Well, they're already racist towards humans.
I guess...
So
well, but that's the thing is it's like, why... If you're using like the real historical like slave trade of like where's she from? The Caribbean, right?
Caribbean.
Like that historical slave trade. It's weird that the vampires aren't like, oh, we're gonna enslave all humans, which they are kind of, but it's weird that they're like, specifically, we're gonna enslave this race of humans.
Yeah, we're gonna enslave black people. And you're like, okay.
I guess the only reason that it's strange is because it like decomplexifies slavery in the context of Castlevania. And there are a lot of people who are like, hey, slavery doesn't need to be like a component to fantasy. Like you can make fantasy and time period stuff and like ignore that because like real human suffering doesn't need to be like
I mean we're dealing with night creatures and vampires.
Yeah,
like you don't need to like harp on slavery.
Exactly. But it's like, but if you are doing it, it's weird that it's like, oh, don't worry, all the slave owners were vampires. And it's like there's some more complexity to be had there if you're like half of them are vampires and half aren't.
It feels like a weird way of being like, oh, slave owners were the bad guys because we've made them the bad guy monster race. And it's like, they already were. Like, you know, like, you don't need to be like, oh, look, because they're vampires, they were bad. It's like, well, it's actually because they owned people.
It's like, oh, don't worry, Nazis were ghouls.
Yeah, you're like oh, okay.
It's like, no, humans were capable of being that horrible, and that's complex and interesting.
Yeah, it's like I already wasn't rooting for them, you know? It's like you didn't need to double down. Like, sure, fuck them. Like, fuck the vampire slave owners. But like, I wasn't on their side to begin with.
But anyway, that was just something interesting that I found.
No, Nocturne, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, but I'm a massive Castlevania fan.
The last thing, I also love anything, which is why I love Assassin's Creed in concept. I love anything that's like, hey, let's do a time period that's not typically represented or like a location. Like French Revolution, you don't see a ton of that in anything.
There's no COD fucking bourgeoisie.
Yeah, like let's do French Revolution plus vampires. Like that is immediately so engaging to me. I would love if they do other like side Castlevania stuff. I'd love to see like just a whole story in the Caribbean, like of some event during then. Like
that would be kind of sick.
Yeah.
Especially now that we've introduced like the fact that like African gods have like a lineage of powers that runs through them. Yeah.
Yeah, like that'd all be sick.
Like they've introduced a new level of magic outside of the speakers that now is tied into Africa.
Or do like a whole Castlevania in Mexico in like the 1700s for no reason. Like
I would be kind of sick.
Just cool different time periods. But anyway, should we move on?
Yes, we should. So now we're probably gonna head into our look ahead. So we've covered Nocturne, we've covered Kengan Ashura, we've covered Hunter and JJK, which means the first thing that we're probably going to talk about is our biggest thing. Something that Danny texted me about while I was in China. You said, fuck Shangri-La Frontier.
Oh, you think this is our biggest thing?
I think it's one of our biggest things.
Yeah.
Because we also have massively varying opinions on it.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Me and Danny did talk about this briefly before the pod, and I had to cut off our conversation because I was like, this is a pod conversation.
You're a crazy person.
So Danny texts me, and he goes, fuck Shangri-La Frontier. And I'm like, you don't like it? By the way, at this point, I hadn't watched it yet. I watched all of this yesterday on the plane. All anime I need to catch up on. I had a 13-hour flight. I was like, I downloaded every single episode. I was like, I'll watch it right now.
That's hype. I love planes for that very reason.
I just love planes. I love, if I could spend 90% of my life on a plane, I probably would.
I love planes. It's an excuse for nobody to text you, no one to bother you. You just work.
I fucking, not really that. I love planes because I get to watch all the movies I need to catch up on.
Yeah.
They just
that's our work.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair. They just bring me food and then I sit there and I rot. And I'm like, cool, I don't have Wi-Fi up here. No one can talk to me. I'm not expected to do anything. If you're the person who's busting out like Excel reports on a plane, fuck off. I'm sorry. If I ever see, like, I will never talk to a human being who's like, oh, cool, 6-hour flight, time to get this report done and all. Fuck you.
Other people have other work.
I have sweatpants on and no underwear. I am watching The Expendables 4 because I didn't see it in theaters. That is what I do on planes, and that's why I love them.
What part of the plane are you on?
What do you mean?
What class of plane are you
know in? I found out a little secret.
Yeah?
Don't buy first class.
No?
Don't even buy economy.
Okay.
What do you want to do? It's a secret.
Nick's flying the plane.
No.
Fly that shit yourself.
Put on a pilot outfit and be like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
No, what you want to do is don't get economy plus, don't get first class.
Okay.
Fuck all that. Buy the emergency exit row. That's what I did. Yeah. We just to both China and back. What we did, $120 each of us.
Yeah,
both ways. So it's like $250 each way for both of us. We just sat in the emergency exit row, and as everyone's like, "Oh, nice, like unlimited legroom,
Yeah.
sounds good. And it's like, okay, and the emergency exit row. If you sit in front of the emergency exit row, you can't recline.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be in the way. You
Right.
can't be in the way of the door.
Yeah.
But if you're in the emergency exit row, you can recline.
Yeah.
And you bet I motherfucking did. You know, because everyone's listen. People are gonna get on my ass about this, and I don't appreciate this. But people are gonna be like, oh, Nick, no one can recline in front of you. Why would you recline? You're gonna crush people behind you. To that I say, they should have bought those seats. You know, they should have.
Listen.
Yeah.
First off, I'm proud of you. I was about to lay into you for being first class, but this is a genuinely good tip for us econ people. I agree. The don't recline thing
Insane.
is nonsense.
Simply just recline yourself.
If you could do it case by case. If there's a person who's like 9 feet tall or like 400 pounds behind you, and they're like, "Hey,
More of a
you're gonna,"
than a.
it's
I guess
both.
I guess at a certain
'cause your legs.
at a certain degree.
Yeah, if you have someone who's gonna be uncomfortable behind you and they're like, you can either feel resistance or they're like, hey, you're absolutely like shoving my shins into my femurs. Don't recline. But it's like when you're like playing a video game and you do like some cheat move and people are like, hey, you're cheating. No, I'm not. They put it in the game.
There's a button right here, motherfucker.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? Like, grabbing is cheating. Like, what do you mean? If I'm allowed to recline by virtue of being on the plane, it's not a test. It's not a morality test that they put on for everybody.
There's gonna be so many like 6'3" people in our comments be like, "Oh, these 5'8", but they don't understand. I don't fit on planes."
Yeah.
Fuck you. The rest of your life is so good. I get 4 moments a year where I can be like, I'm motherfucking plane sized, bitch. I get on my plane. I put my little bottle in front of me, and I recline. Oh no, do your little shins hurt? Oh, do you have to special order your pants to be long? Fuck you.
Look, if there's someone who's uncomfortable with reclining behind me, I won't recline. If there's like a 12-year-old boy behind me, like, fucking, he's got room. He's got plenty of room.
Listen, I'll admit, I always look behind myself. I'm like, oh, is that person big?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? Don't give a shit.
You go, boom. And you do it a couple more times.
You know what I've realized? Because I do have like a little bit of shame over this. What I do is while the plane's taking off, I grab the button. So like when you're pressed to the back of your seat, right? And everyone's like, ugh. While the plane's taking off, what I do is I grab the button, I slowly push it. I slowly lean back with like time. And I'm like, and I'm just like, I'm assuming that they just won't see the slow moving screen slowly coming towards their face.
Like an optical illusion.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out that this is a felony and like you're arrested.
I'm the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because they tell you not to do that.
Which is so silly. They're like, don't have your table down during takeoff. What, I'm like, oh God, the table. What?
I think it'll cut you in half if we crash.
Good. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm worried about is a table cutting me in half when my airplane hits the fucking ground at 500 miles. It's another thing. Everyone's like, oh,
we don't have time for this.
Wear your seatbelts on the airplane. If it goes down, this fucking piece of fabric is not saving me. The goals for turbulence. I've never hit turbulence so bad I needed a...
I can't wait to be on a plane. I don't know we're on the same plane. You're like way behind me or in front. And we hit turbulence and you ragdoll down the middle of the aisle for no reason. just
It's a literal Key and Peele skit. Okay, all right. So Shangri-La. So you
there are varying opinions.
Well, so you texted me and said, "Fuck Shangri-La Frontier," and I was like, "Why?" Because I hadn't seen it yet. And you're like, "Because it's gonna make me care about a VR anime."
Yeah.
So you liked it.
I'm pissed.
Okay.
I'm pissed that I liked it.
Uh-huh.
That's not our crazy opinion. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it quite a bit because I like. For the main reason, it feels like it's written by someone who's played at least one video game.
Yeah.
At the very least, they know what a game is.
I also, one of my favorite things is every time they're like NPC, they would explain at the bottom. They're like non-player character.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I know this.
Well, yeah.
But some people may not.
Well, I like that it's like one of my least favorite tropes in anime, and you get this a lot in BL animes, where it's like, it'll be like, a music anime or a skating anime or this or that. Yuri on Ice doesn't fall victim to this, but the trope is like some shy whatever boy like shows up and he's like, I want to be the best musician in the world. I want to be the best guitarist. They hand him a guitar and he's like, what is this? What do I do here? And that's like, I hate in Sword Art Online, from the little I've seen of it, they over-explain every video game-ass thing, but in a way where they'll be like, whoa, you can see the health bar? That's fucking crazy. And it's like, is it?
The moment I'm thinking of is when Kirito's getting slashed up by all the PKers, and he's like, MMORPGs aren't fair. It's like, oh, the leveling system makes it so like my regeneration is higher than the amount of damage you can do to me.
It's like shit like that where you'll be like, whoa, 18 different classes? This is a pretty extensive RPG. And it's like, shut up. No one has ever done. People just get in, they're like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll be warrior.
Ranger? Cool. Here's my bow.
No one who's played a lot, I should say, no one who's played a bunch of video games acts like that. And this fixes that because this kid, his gimmick, the main character, is that he loves terrible games.
Yeah.
Like, he loves janky-ass, whack-ass games. So then he gets into this one, and he, like, jumps out of a tree, and he's like, whoa, I like landed without clipping. I didn't clip through the ground. That's hype. And I'm like, I buy that.
Yeah.
And it makes him endearing in the way that Akira in Zom 100 is endearing, where he just is high on the like being in a good game.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's cute.
I also really like the explanation of like, because genuinely, there's nothing harder than beating a broken ass game that like, since he's beaten so many bad games using the same engine he's still using to like play, because that's the thing, it's like it's VR, but it's fully immersive VR.
Yeah.
So like a lot of his own abilities play into how well he does in the video game. So like I like that like the explanation of him being so good in Shangri-La Frontier is because he had to beat incredibly terrible games.
Yeah, he's used to playing with like permanent lag, like clipping through shit. So that makes sense.
It's like beating Dark Souls 2 because the hitboxes were so fucked that it was like one of the easier of the Dark Souls, of like the Souls-like games, but like it was just like there was so much cheese.
Yeah.
It was like you would like roll away from an attack and you'd end up impaled by it. And you're like, all right, this game is harder by virtue of the fact that it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, exactly. I like that a lot. And it like, so yeah, it makes up for when he's like in the menu, he's looking at the classes and he's like, whoa, there's so many classes. This is so extensive.
Yeah.
That is a genuine, reasonable reaction because he's used to games where it's like warrior, hunter, mage, you know, like, so that's cool.
No, and then so where we differ though. So actually, I want to read my live notes here. The animation is gorgeous. Exclamation point. All capital letters, gorgeous. This is one of the prettiest anime I've seen in recent years, and I do not know. Like, I don't know did you watch it in a lower resolution than I did? I genuinely am struggling where I don't understand how you're going to absolutely destroy my camera's focus. I feel like when you're going to move away. No, actually, we're good.
Good focus.
I don't understand how you don't think this isn't one of the prettiest animes you've seen in recent years.
You're crazy.
How?
You're insane.
Where do we differ?
It looks good, but you can't watch JJK. It's like on par with like, it's a shinier Sword Art Online.
Okay, but Sword Art Online comes from a time period when animation was like actually better than it is today. 2011 to 2014 was like the golden era of animation for no fucking reason.
I don't even know how to talk to you right now.
I listen.
This is crazy.
SAO looks really good and it's fluid. Like there's like Kirito's moment when he dual wields, like he solos the boss and he goes to like his like 13 move like dual wield cross attack thing is one of the cleanest scenes of animation in the last decade.
I think, just to go on this crazy tangent very quickly, I think there were better looking anime by virtue of like it's all hand drawn. There's like so little CG going on. But I think there were way fewer. I think now the average anime looks great. Like,
I think the bar is higher, but I think the height was higher.
I'm saying yes, kind of. I'm saying like the frequency, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Gorgeous. Super good looking. Anime movies all looked great. But there's like, you get a couple that look good, but the majority of anime didn't.
I definitely agree with you there. But like, I'm talking like the first 2 seasons of Seven Deadly Sins, SAO, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Hunter x Hunter, like that 2000
Hunter.
Yeah, the 2009 edition of Hunter x Hunter holds up to this day. It's incredibly good looking.
You're crazy.
It's not like, obviously the animation is a little bit dated, but like in terms of fluidity and like for what it accomplished at that current time, really good looking.
I just can't. It looks good, but like this is not one of the best looking anime of recent years.
Outside of
no chance.
The only anime
Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Zom 100, 86.
I would give you okay. So I don't think season 2 of JJK is as well animated as season 1. I think there's been stylistic changes. I think season 2 is better. But I think if you were to sit down and just look at animation quality, I think season 1 is better than season 2. I think there's been like I said, story-wise, directing-wise, I think that season 2 is better. But if you're like cell for cell, I think season 1 of JJK is better animated.
What is your criteria?
Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, artistically, I like how this is done.
No, I'm talking purely visual.
Pure aesthetic visualization.
I'm talking pure, raw, dirty visuals.
I think it's, well, I'm gonna talk through the medium of Shangri-La Frontier.
Okay.
One, everybody's faces and hair, the hair is incredibly detailed. The skin is smooth.
I'll pull up some images for
I really
myself.
like this. Well, okay. I'm also kind of biased here because I really do like the art style of Shangri-La Frontier. The backgrounds are really pretty. I think the fights are incredibly smooth. Like his battle against the Vopal bunnies or something like that. Really cool. The battle against the snake was really dope. And I like the way that everything is drawn in this. And it's just something about the faces and the way that the hair falls on there's like good hair physics in this show as well. Like the girl who's, I don't even remember her name. I don't even remember the main character's name actually.
I also don't.
There's
I call him Bird and Osuke.
Yeah, Bird and Osuke and the girl. Like both of their hair falls in a really nice way. I just like the way that this looks. Like the only anime that I would say currently for me in the last 5 years that look better than Shangri-La Frontier would be Violet Evergarden.
Okay.
Violet Evergarden.
Fair.
Season 1 of JJK. I can understand where you're coming from with Chainsaw Man because it was smooth.
I just can't believe.
And it was stylized.
I can't fathom. We can't even have a discussion because you're speaking in a different language to me.
I
can't believe you think season 1 of JJK looks better than season 2.
Why not?
It just
Why
doesn't.
not?
It just doesn't.
That's not, you're not giving me anything, Daniel.
There's like so much more fluidity in season 2 of JJK. It's so much. They're like the spectacles are so much bigger. Like the set pieces are a lot grander. It's more like
I agree there.
I think season 2 has the benefit of having more opportunities to look better. Like it's clearly a different art style, like season 2 from season 1. So like, who knows if the season 1 like team and direction tackling the story of season 2 would make it look better. But I think like there's no instance of season 1 that I would go back and watch just for the sheer visuals of it. There are like multiple episodes of season 2 that I would.
So I think what it is about me is that like I kind of like this hyper realistic, not like hyper realistic, but like the art style of season 1 of JJK to me looks more realistic than the art style of season 2, right?
I guess so. You like, I guess it's like detail over motion.
Yes.
Because I'm so into motion.
I'm a detail person. And I think like, if you just look at this photo of the Bird and Osuke, right?
I
like,
was looking, it does look great.
There's good shadows, like it's like anatomically correct, like, and it's like, I don't know, just something about it, like the proportions. To me, it's like the proportions of the character, the more realistic it looks.
That's crazy that you would say Seven Deadly Sins looks good then.
Season 1.
Everyone looks like a fucking balloon animal.
Okay.
In that one.
That was me just saying like, that was really, the first 2 seasons of Seven Deadly Sins are just well animated, straight up. Like it's not even like, it wasn't to like my liking, because everyone is absolutely ridiculous in that. But like the first 2 seasons of Seven Deadly Sins are great. Like at least in their animation. But yeah, no, I like the way that it looks. This to me, Shangri-La Frontier to me, and I would like to remind everybody, I've seen every single episode of SAO. I love SAO. Is revitalizing my love for isekai.
Yeah?
I wrote down.
Is this an isekai? Does this count?
It has to be. What else would it be?
It's just a video. I guess it's like, because it's not a you die in the game, you die for real. There's like no stakes.
I
so
mean,
he's not
Log
really.
Horizon is like that happens all the time.
I guess
There's
so.
Tons of video game anime where like if you die in the game, you don't die in real life.
That's so strange. I thought isekai is like you literally need to be in it.
I mean, okay, so
Because he's not. He's just playing a video game. He's not in another world.
Would you just call it a shonen? You're just like, oh, it's a shonen video game?
It's a video game.
But he's in a different world. Like, the majority of the show takes place in a different world.
That's so strange. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
The video game is the medium for the isekai-ing.
Right.
Everything, and I haven't read the manga. Is it?
It's a manga.
Is it a manga?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was an original story.
No.
I haven't read the manga, so I don't know. But, like, currently, this is the most likable cast I've had in an isekai in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I watched SAO when I was young, so I got like enamored with these characters before I had a fully developed brain, and I was like, "Oh, Kirito is kind of a cringe lord." Like fully, he is.
You can like SAO; it's okay.
I do. I love SAO.
Yeah.
But Shangri-La Frontier, I love the main character. I love that main love interest girl. I think she's cute. I think she's funny. I think there's like her with the fully decked out armor is really funny. I like the introduction to the guy with the bow and him like trying to I'm gonna finally get with this girl that I'm crushing on. But like obviously this entire story, at least in the first 2 episodes, is very focused around the main character who, one, all of the explanations about like why he was naked and running around and why he was wearing a mask made sense.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm the kind of person who like everyone, and also I love that he's walking through town and everyone's like, is that a meme build? And I'm like, you're right. It's like, this is like an actual, like these people played video games.
Yeah. You know what's funny too? He's so part of why he's naked also is because you could sell your starting armor.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not a bad idea.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool game design.
Yeah.
I would love to see that in a game.
But then he's like, also, it's a full dive immersive experience, and I don't want to be running around naked. So like, I put a bird mask on. I was like, that makes sense.
How do you feel about his design?
What do you mean?
Like his outfit, bird mask, shorts.
Well,
As an anime character, how do you feel about it?
he has more than shorts now.
Well, right.
He has like a full green suit.
How do you feel about it?
I think it was done for a reason. Listen, I understand it.
You don't like it?
No, here's the thing. I do kind of like it because it's unique. But at the same time, the amount of money they save on animating his mouth is, I think, why the rest of the show looks so good. Because think about it. It's Kakashi, it's Inosuke. All you have to do is, like, every single time we see him on screen and he's either thinking or talking, it's just the still frame of him. You don't have to move his mouth at all. Exactly.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I do kind of like that choice. It also adds that little mysteria, but, like, also, like, it's humor. Like, because, like, it's a bird mask man.
I think it looks sick. I think it genuinely looks dope. And I wrote that down. I go, his design rules. And immediately after, they were like, don't worry, he's not some kind of freak. And I was like, I thought it was cool. I thought it did look cool.
Didn't have to explain it to me.
Yeah. But just to clear the room, I think it looks great too.
Okay.
I was just flabbergasted at
how hot I came out on it.
Because you were like, this is the best looking anime I've ever seen. When we walked in,
I was watching
it. We shouldn't get back into it.
Very aesthetically pleasing. I like the way it looks.
It looks good. It looks very good. I like when he fought the Vorpal bunny, I was like, fight scenes look great. This looks awesome. They do a little critical hit thing.
Yep.
Very cool.
Stabs him in the neck. Yeah.
I have like all the same things as you do. I love him as a main character. Like I wrote, when I first started, because I had no idea what it was about, it goes, in a world where display-based games are considered retro and fully immersive VR games have become the norm, I audibly went, oh no.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it was going to be a VR
I also
anime.
didn't know it was going to be a VR anime. I was like, oh, it's like a Birdman in a fantasy where I had no idea what it was going to be.
It's very fun. And then, I go... the theme song slaps so hard I had to have jaw surgery after it.
The second thing I wrote after this animation is gorgeous. Opening is a banger. Out of everything that I've watched this season, and we watched a lot, best opening by far.
Agreed.
So good.
Really hardcore and badass.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
I also wrote, since you're also reading your notes, we have the best isekai in years on our hands here. I
agree.
think this has the potential to be the best isekai, at least for me, since SAO came out, since Log Horizon, since Gate, since what I deem as the golden age of isekai.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've tried with Shield Hero, I've tried with Overlord, I tried with Mushoku Tensei. All of them lost me for different reasons, and this one, I feel like there's been no red flags thus far. I'm like, holy shit. I might fall in love again. I swear to God, I'll fucking do it. Like, isekai used to be my favorite genre. I want it to be my favorite genre again. I could find love again.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for that.
I agree. I was very shocked at how good it was. I feel like if we were to pitch it, it's like Sword Art Online mixed with the attitude of like Zom 100.
Yeah.
Like it's got the optimism and like fun quirkiness of it.
Yeah. Plus like the like combat of Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Or like the cringe of Kirito.
Yeah.
And like the like there's no perversion. Like I like they even explain away.
Not
like,
yet, there's time.
Yeah, like there is. There always is an option. But like as it currently stands, we're heading in the right direction. All right. Our second biggest thing, which I'm assuming you thought was going to be our lead in here.
This is my biggest.
Undead
Unluck. I loved it.
I'm happy for you.
I think that's better looking than this one. Than Shangri-La. It's so much. It's just Fire Force with blood.
I was gonna say that it's also very Mob 100-y though.
Yeah,
it's high motion.
Yeah,
a lot of fluidity.
Yeah,
like just bouncing. Like it's just so much bouncing
all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
It made me realize I love a protagonist who just has rocket feet. Mm-hmm. It's so cool.
It is kind of
so awesome.
Yeah.
So this one is about this girl who has power or like ability.
A curse more like,
yeah, called Unluck, where if she touches somebody, unlucky shit will happen to that person.
Yeah.
She can't touch anyone. The show opens, she's gonna kill herself. Mm-hmm. And then this guy shows up named Andy.
Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't have a name at that time.
Right. So he shows up and he's like, hey, my curse is that I'm immortal, and also I can like propel blood from my body
by like constantly regenerating my blown off feet.
Yeah, exactly. He can like shoot his body parts out. He can like rocket around. Yeah, he bites his finger a little and then uses
shoot it like a bullet.
Yeah, he's very cool. But he shows up, he sees her, and he's like, "Hey, don't kill yourself."
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
And she's like, well, if people touch me, they get like a flesh-eating disease. Like she's lying. And he touches her and he's like, that's hype. I want to die. I'm so sick of being alive.
Yeah.
And then something unlucky happens to him. And he's like, this is hype. We have to keep trying stuff out to get me killed. And that's their little duo. And meanwhile, they're being hunted by fucking like power hunters, whatever.
Yeah.
Shonen stuff ensues. I love it.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
a lot. Okay, here's the thing. I've seen Undead Unluck like in Shonen Jump for like 2 years now. It's on chapter. Let's see. It's in chapter like 150.
Oh my God.
Like it's already a long manga. Undead Unluck has 178 chapters. So yeah, it's a long manga already. And I've seen it for a long time. I heard it was getting an anime, and I was like, oh, I should go ahead and read it, and I didn't. So I went into this. Outside of the picture I see on Shonen Jump of the two main characters, I knew nothing about this.
Yeah.
Heading into this, not the plot I would have expected at all. At all.
No. I'm so glad that it turns shonen-y, though. Like, it's a Chainsaw Man. It's a JJK kind of. They've got, like, a society, you know?
Of course. Okay, there's, like, a whole thing where there's, like, so they're called negators. And like
bad name.
It's don't love it. Don't love it. Like,
you said it so confidently, and I was like, I'm gonna dance around it the whole day.
Yeah, like it's not awesome.
It's a tough one to say quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're gonna be enunciating on this podcast, but they essentially like if you negate the rules of the world, you get hunt down by this organization, and this organization has 10 people who all negate the rules of the world, and they like only allow 10 of them to exist, and those 10 people hunt down other people who are anomalies on Earth, and the undead and the unluck are both anomalies, so they're getting hunted down by this shadow organization, essentially. And so now they're trying to join the organization, is like what the first 2 episodes have shown us. Like, instead of getting hunted down, let's join the organization, which I'm assuming gives the show a lot more longevity. Like, I guess it's like, hey, if we're just hunting down bad guys for the entire show, there technically doesn't have to be an end, as opposed to like, oh, we have to kill these 10 people and break down, like, it's like, because that's One Piece, or, you know, that's Demon Slayer. It's like, there's a certain amount of people we have to kill.
Oh yeah, and One Piece has no longevity.
They hauled right through One Piece. It was done 20 years ago.
They, at one point, they even were like, if you kill us, when they were getting hunted, the hunters were like, if you kill us, there's going to be more, and it will never end.
Yeah.
And that's when I was also like, oh, nice, this can go on for quite a bit.
Yeah, we got some legs on this bad boy.
Yeah.
What I was very surprised by, well, one, good looking. Like,
great looking.
Very Fire Forcey, very Mob 100. 2, surprisingly brutal. Like, just like opening with, like, the dude exploding on the front of a train. Like, I was very surprised by that. And then like swords getting thrown through him holding his sword in his shoulder as a holster, hilarious.
He's like rocketing at one point, and he makes his like bone regenerate out of his leg, and he uses it to like
spear into the side of the building.
Yeah.
That was wild.
I love it. I'm so high on this show.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny. Like
genuinely funny.
Like not like mashal, like stupid humor, like good, like anime, good punchlines, like physical comedy, that kind of things. Like it's a dude who explodes a lot. So like if you like watching dudes getting kicked in the balls, you're gonna love this.
Yeah. He's also fun. They have a very, very sweet moment where I was like, oh, this is a little more than just fun.
What?
With you stopped me.
No. I had another point, but him cutting her hair.
Yeah, him cutting her hair, because he's like, there's a bit where she's like, her hair is super long, and she's like, no one can cut it. Any stylist would die because they'd have to touch me. And he like whips out the scissors and shit, and he's like, I've lived for so many years. I know every skill. And he cuts her hair, and I was like, oh.
At one point, I was a stylist. Like it's like I was like 200 years ago, but
I love him as a character, because I'm like, he's this big, ripped, always naked man.
Yeah, because he's just constantly exploding.
Yeah, he's always exploding, and I'm like, I love that his personality is like, I'll try everything.
Yeah.
I'll do a little everything. Like
that's the thing. And he's got like caches of weapons and yachts and planes. And then like he's like, I have to keep like a piece of glass in my brain because otherwise I'll have way too much information and I'll go insane. And so like whenever he needs to like power up, he pulls the glass out of his brain, which is dope.
That was great.
I love that explanation. It's like, hey, I will go insane with a lifetime of information. I need to keep myself crippled.
That's why I have high hopes about this show and manga. Is because, and apparently people love the manga.
Yeah.
Like it's doing very well. I have high hopes because the power system is very JJK-esque, where it's like,
I guess, yeah.
I hear the power system and I'm like, oh, can we really come up with like enough powers with that concept? Like they all have to negate some aspect.
Yeah.
Or like Chainsaw Man, where I'm like, can we really come up with like a devil for every fear?
Absolutely.
And they do. Well, you can't. Yeah. I'm not creative. I'm bad at coming up with powers.
The first thing that kills like a tomato devil.
Yeah, he's working with everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, right, the power is almost math-based, like JJK, where it's like, it had, like, the two villains they fight, one...
Or, like, external type negators or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, he negates, what, like, movement or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. And I'm like, man, that's so niche and specific that I wonder the longevity of the powers. But they flesh his out so much that I'm like, oh, this dude's smart as fuck. Like the mangaga's so smart. He's got it covered.
Like him being like, when he's fighting the Shen dude, the guy with the blue hair, he's like, something about your abilities is opposite. Like I go high, you go low. And like the main character is like lived for so long that like Andy, the main character, has lived for so long that he's like got this like he's like can figure people out. He's very intelligent.
He knows the patterns.
Yeah. And so like we figure out the powers of the medium of his intelligence. And like because that we get really fleshed out powers that are really cool. So I loved that. I also loved the fact that it's a romance anime.
Yeah, it is, huh?
Yeah, like it's like just straight up. That was the most surprising bit of it to me. I was like, oh, this is just a romance anime.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, so basically to surmise here, the main character, the main girl, her name
I don't know her name.
Izumi, Ibini.
I have no idea. I thought it started with an F, honestly.
It could, honestly. She like basically she finds out that the most unluck she can give to somebody is when she kisses them.
Yeah.
But the more that she likes somebody, who she kisses, the worse the luck. So
is that true? I thought she was lying. I thought she was lying because she's like, if this guy's gonna stick around, because she's like, he's the only human who can touch me. Yeah. And she is a romantic. She wants to be touched. Yeah. In a creepy way and in a not creepy way. You know?
She's 18. They hammer the 18 bit.
I mean, not creepy. I mean, like, in a anime way.
I mean, he is hundreds of years old.
Yeah, so there's that. But it's not so bad. I want to get into that.
She's not 15.
But anyway, she wants to be touched, like, romantically.
Don't we all?
Exactly. She wants intimacy. And so she's like, oh, this guy is the only one who can touch me, but he only wants to use me as like a tool to kill himself.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if she was lying about the like, oh, the more I like someone, the worse it'll be. And I couldn't tell if that was so she's like, I at least want this guy to be more likable. He's being a dick.
Yeah.
So I want to manipulate him a little.
I think maybe that's definitely a possibility, but also I like the explanation of like, oh, I kissed my grandparents and they creeped the fucking shit out of me. And like he only dislocated his legs.
Right. I like that.
But my parents, who like hugged me and kissed me a bunch, like before they left for a week, their entire plane exploded. Yeah, like gone. And I think it like kind of was instantly corroborated by the fact that she kisses him on the cheek and a fucking meteor falls out of the sky and blows up a building. So like I think it probably is true. And also there's like the fact that like this has now become the core motivation of the entire show. Yeah. Like that's the thing. So like basically she like now the core motivation of the entire show is Andy romancing this girl. Yeah. So that one day they can fuck. Yeah. Like that's the thing. It's like one day, like, because that's the thing. He's like, oh, well, if kissing gives bad luck here. He's like, all right,
if we fuck, I'll be dead.
That's the thing. He's like, next we have to try sex. And I love it. And they bleep the word sex. It's like, next we have to try bleep. And it's like 3 letters. Yeah. So like next we have to fuck. And so he's like, take off your clothes, we're gonna have sex. And she's like, well, no, I have to like you first. And then there's like kind of a cute moment in the second episode where he's about to die, or he's about to get captured. And she's like, well, at least let me grant you death right now. Fucking get in it. You know?
Yeah, she do be having him in it.
Yeah, she's like, fucking get up in there. And he's like, I would never. Very chivalrous. So like,
I like that too. That was
I think
cute.
it's gonna be like a long romance anime between these two characters. And when they fall in love and fucking smush, he'll die.
There we go.
I don't think it ends. That I'm gonna make a prediction of a 200 chapter manga here that I've seen two episodes of. I'm gonna think that over time they're gonna grow into the organization and they are gonna get closer, and then she's gonna make him realize that life is worth living.
I would love if they become friends.
Like don't fuck,
no smoosh, no smoosh. I would love if they become so close. And she makes him realize that life is worth living. That he's
she can
like
platonically throw it back.
Well, he's like I don't want to fuck anymore because I don't want to die. Like if we fuck, we'll die. And then she's like, well, I want to fuck somebody.
She's like, how about you just rip it off? And you get 30 seconds, right? When a body part is detached.
Yeah, I'd like if he realizes life is worth living and they love each other, but it becomes platonic. It doesn't have to. I'm not like.
Is that because of the?
It should be cool. It'd be a cool subversion.
I thought it was gonna be like because of the age gap thing.
It's whatever. It's not illegal. At least she's 18.
That's pretty odd. That's good.
At least she's 18. I don't know how old he is.
He's at least 200 years old.
Yeah. So, but what's it called? Yeah. So I did want to talk about the like, is it pervy? Is it not? Because here's the thing. It
is.
Well,
but it doesn't feel like it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching Soul Eater.
That makes my entire soul burn with a happy fire.
Here's the difference between
Did you finish Full Metal?
No.
Okay.
I got like.
Is there anything you're not fucking watching right now?
I got like 15. No, I'm watching a lot now.
You're watching so many goddamn things.
I'm almost done with Black Butler, and it's October. I wanted like.
You're still watching Bungo?
No,
you're not.
It ended. Bungo's done for like years now.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Season 5 started.
It ended like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
The anime surpassed the manga. So the manga is now catching up to the anime.
What?
And no one knows what's going to happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It ends wild.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
I heard you made some TikToks and you're like, this is the best season ever.
Yeah.
You love the ending. Yeah.
It's so good. Season 5 is the best season of Bungo Stray Dogs ever. And the ending ends in such a batshit crazy way. But anyway, so I'm watching Soul Eater, and I just want to my distinction between pervy and not pervy in quotes is that Soul Eater is just constantly throwing tits in your face, Blair's boobs. And it's not funny. It's not like an attempt to be funny. It's just cuts to her and she's in a bath and she's naked.
Yeah.
And singing about pumpkins. It's just trying to arouse you. And and sometimes they do a joke, but it's such a half-ass joke. It's just oh, Blair's naked and Soul bleeds out of his nose. That is in my opinion, not an attempt to be funny. It's an excuse to be pervy.
Absolutely.
Whereas this is genuinely funny. And it's yeah, she's hot. Her tits are huge.
Massive. When he was holding her upside down, I was like...
When he was holding her upside down, they're about to fall out. And when he first rockets her shirt comes up a little. And I'm nice, we got a little tum action.
She's also exactly your type.
She's hot.
She's so Danny coded.
Yeah.
She's small. She's got, you know, crop little hair. She's got a big sweater.
Yeah, she's curvy.
She wears a hat. She's like literally, I'm like, that's so Danny coded.
She's so great. She looks like a hotter ear Jack from My Hero. But like fucking, yeah, it's like the humor works.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's always naked and that's not like a pervy thing. It's like silly.
He just keeps fucking blowing up.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it doesn't feel pervy because it's not just like, oh, boobs, check that, go jerk off on DeviantArt to this later.
Yeah, it's different between Tamaki and Fire Force, who's like who has like Lucky Letcher, who like her clothes just fall off, and him, he's like, I just got exploded by a fucking train. I just painted a wall with my own brains. Like, I'm sorry, my clothes fell off.
Yeah, I talked about this in with Soul Eater, because the guy who made Soul Eater also made Fire Force.
Yes.
That dude is the horniest
He's
man.
the horny guy.
Is the horniest man who like doesn't know how to arouse anybody. The horniness in Fire Force and Soul Eater is so fucking weird that it's what with your little
I just want to say, speak for yourself, because
I guess I'm speaking for myself. But he's so weird. Like this. Undead Unluck
has some of the baddest women known to man.
Undead Unluck, genuinely sexy. Like, very hot. I got, like, the same way with this protagonist that I did when we watched the Zom 100
live action. You're like, there's a lot of zombie tits.
Where I was just like, why am I, like, aroused? Like, why is this doing it for me?
It's
like,
the sweater, man. You're a sweater guy.
I guess so. I guess I am.
You just love the idea of a big-tooted woman. Big-tooted? Fucking get the bell. You just love the idea.
Woo! Ding, ding, ding.
Let me explain to you Danny's ideal woman. And it's literally, I'm just going to explain Sarah to you. You just want a woman, C cups are larger, fully covered head to toe, so comfy. So comfy. A book, tea, a dimly lighted, like fire-lit room.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, hey, Daniel. How are you today?
I just love a woman who's like, yeah, I love big boobs.
She wears glasses too, doesn't she?
No, I don't think so.
She doesn't?
I don't think so.
Am
I just like that she's thick.
Yeah, I've imprinted on her.
I like that she's thick all around. You know, like yeah, the sweater, all of that. It's great. She's great.
I love that our types are so vastly different.
Oh yeah.
So I'm fucking give me a 6
You
footer.
love them so slender.
Give me a 6.
You love like a Nami, like a 7 foot tall Nami ass.
Robin is 6'3" and she's my dream woman.
Yeah, there you go.
I want a woman who can carry me like a handbag. You want frog on a lily pad.
I just want to like yin yang someone, and that doesn't mean 69.
Exactly. It literally makes a 69.
Listen, it means whatever you want it to mean, baby.
Listen, but you pointed the fucking mic at it. God, I love the soundboard arc to this podcast. We need more. We need more.
I loved opening what?
By the way, one of our members just said Danpo for life. So
have you seen that?
I have.
You've been seeing that? Wrap up Undead Unluck. What are your other thoughts?
So Undead Unluck, very good. I would say, the opening, 8.5 out of 10. Pretty good.
Very okay.
My last comment on Undead Unluck was maybe best show of the season. Question mark.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was high on life today when I watched episode 2.
Are you going to react to it?
I might do reviews because I watched it being like, I want to talk about this, and we are here today.
Yeah. This is how I talk about things that aren't Naruto or JJK.
That's so fair. But I my reactions, everyone loves when I do like old shit that's already out.
Yeah.
And I can't compete with like the big boys who are doing new shit.
I guess.
So I may like, if there's an anime that comes out, I'll either do like a first impressions, like low key, just talk about it in front of my camera.
First off, I feel like you absolutely could compete with the big boys to talk about the new shit.
I can't. I never can. Chainsaw Man tanked.
Really?
Zom 100 tanked. Jujutsu Kaisen tanks.
I don't even know I am on anime YouTube and I don't even know the anime YouTubers who are like, oh, I'm going to talk about this new anime. I couldn't name one of them.
It's the other reaction pages.
Okay.
I don't watch them. I don't like reaction content, but
not my bag.
But some people have like, they get like 700K views on reaction videos. can't compete with that guy.
Really?
700,000 people have already seen some loud idiot talk about the new anime.
You're like, okay, I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, like that. My niche is like, hey, Blue Exorcist came out a while ago. I'll talk about that.
New season coming out right now.
That's also very much my niche.
Yes.
Is like shit that's been dead for a long time getting a resurgence.
You should have got on the fucking Devils Apart timer train.
I'm okay.
It's fine.
That's why I'm on the Black Butler train, though. Season 4 comes out in January, I think.
Oh, so you're getting ahead of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Undead Unluck, probably, I'd say right there with Shangri-La Frontier, will probably be better than Shangri-La Frontier.
I'm so hyped
because I feel like the barrier for entry for Undead Unluck is lower than Shangri-La Frontier, because it's like, oh, it's like a funny comedy romance anime, and Shangri-La Frontier is like a VR anime isekai.
I think they're neck and neck.
You think so?
Because you're right on all that.
This is
Shangri-La's or Shangri-La isn't horny at all yet.
Fair. But just the fact that it is a VR anime isekai is inherently more anime neckbeard than Undead Unluck.
Yeah.
And that is fortunately a smaller subsection of actually, that may not be true.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
It's a subsection. Fuck you.
I think you've got like the people who are opposed to horny anime and the people who are opposed to video game anime. I don't know. I will say this. I turned on Undead Unluck, and Sarah was in the room, and she sat down and watched. She would not with Shangri-La.
So that's my thing. I was going to say, where do we think the split is this season? Like, girls, gals, gays, guys.
And squirrels.
And squirrels. What are the splits? So is Undead Unluck, is that our gays and our gals?
I think it may be for everyone. There hasn't been like a Nanami. Like, I don't think Andy is the female gaze at all.
No.
Sarah's appalled by his power.
He's just like, he's not mash coded, but he's a physical comedy. He's almost Saitama coded, but like in a more grotesque kind of way.
Yeah,
It's
him cutting hair helped.
Yeah.
Like that helped with the female gaze. But, sorry,
because he is sweet.
Yeah, he is sweet. Yeah.
Like, he's very chivalrous. Like, he was like, no, I'm not gonna have sex with you here and now. Like, I would never be that kind of person. Like, he is chivalrous, but he looks like power fantasy, right? He's got tattoos. He's ripped.
He pulls
glass out of his fucking head.
Yeah.
Like,
his hair gets longer in his rage form. Like, he's for dudes.
Yeah, but she's so soft boy coded that it's interesting.
Yeah,
that it's like a weird split. Shangri-La Frontier, I think that's gonna get it's gonna be hard to get non-isekai fans to Shangri-La Frontier because it is just an isekai.
Yeah.
You know, and it's never like, it's hard. Like,
it's a tough sell.
The amount of like non-isekai fans who just like, oh, I'll go watch this isekai, it's very low.
If I didn't have this podcast, it would have taken so much to get me to fucking watch Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Just on premise alone.
But it's good.
It's good.
You want to know what wasn't good? So Undead Unluck, watch it. You know what wasn't good?
What?
Under Ninja.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, so Under Ninja is basically John Wick if it was, I guess John Wick 3 was, or John Wick 4 was just in Japan, but
any of them.
It's John Wick in Japan. It was like, hey, listen, after World War II, all the ninjas in Japan, it's so funny. I'm going to read my exact comments here because I blocked out the majority of this. So USA, first thing they did after World War II was round up ninja. They were like, after World War II, McCarthy was
top priority.
It was like the most dangerous thing in Japan is fucking ninja. So like the first thing that like the McCarthyan era of the 1950s in Japan was like, we need to dispose of all of the ninjas. So all of the ninjas in Japan, of which there was hundreds of thousands, went into hiding. And now in modern day Japan, there is 200,000 fucking ninja still active. And they're just like, we're the strongest.
That's so many ninja. There aren't even that many people to kill.
That's the thing.
You know?
That's the thing. They go over it. They're like, there's 230,000 people in the JDSF or whatever, the Defense Force. There's 270,000 cops, and there's 200,000 ninjas. And we're not relegated or controlled by any forces whatsoever. So like, the entire thing is like, there's an underground thing of ninjas, and there's like these 17-year-old ninjas who infiltrate a high school to battle against these other ninjas. And the entire season is appearing as though it's going to cover just one battle between these 4 ninjas and these 3 other warring ninjas in a high school. But every 3 seconds in the battle, they just do a cut scene, and they're like, oh, he got that sweatshirt because, and then there's a 5-minute cutscene to 3 months prior.
Flashback?
To when he got and it's just like, it's the art style is apparently the manga. and because it's about ninjas, I got tagged in watching it a million times. And everyone's like, "Oh, watch this! It's a modern day ninja story. You'll love it." Apparently, the manga massively popular, but they just they cut a lot of the gore out of the anime.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like it's about anime. It's about fucking ninjas. Like the first scene. Oh my god, the first minute is awful. The first minute of the show is genuinely probably the first minute of any anime I've ever watched in my entire life. It's for some reason they open with the show. It's like 5 American paratroopers dropping into the Middle East, and they're sweeping a building, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta find the bomb. We gotta find the terrorists." And it. By the way, I've on many different occasions expressed how much I hate when they have English in the Japanese sub, and it's just like Japanese VAs speaking English, and you can tell. You can fucking, because obviously it's not the first language, and it's not their fault. It's just like, get an American dude. But it's for like Japanese VAs playing, you know, American soldiers.
Right,
so they're just dropping like F-bombs and all that. They're like, clear, like, oh, fuck. It is the terrorist.
That's sick.
And it's just like, and then so they kick down the door, they find this terrorist, and like the first scene in the manga is like super gritty. This terrorist has his head cut in half. And it's like his like fucking brain stem. You can see all of it, like top of his mouth. And they darkened all of it so you can't see any of it in the anime. Yeah, so everyone was like really like bummed about that. And then there's like so obviously this terrorist has been cut before the American soldiers could get there. And they're like, oh, what did that? Was it an explosion? And they're like, no, look at that desk right there. That's an origami. You can tell that it was a ninja because that is an origami.
And they're like,
and then like some of the American soldiers are like, oh man, wish I could have seen the ninja. And they're like, no, we would have died if we. And I was like, I was 45 seconds into this fucking anime. And like, I can't. I was like, I literally cannot watch this. I'll gouge my eyes out.
Did you finish it?
I finished the first 2 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a brave boy.
Yeah.
It was.
Thank you for your service.
It was, the art style is horrendous.
Damn.
There's just, it's cutbacks on cutbacks. It's fine. It's so.
It looks cool
fine.
art style wise.
It's so kind of Adult Swim coded. And
never mind. It looks terrible. The manga looks cool.
It's really ugly. And it's not good. It's sitting at 4.2 stars on Crunchyroll right now, which is actually like, it's not.
That's so high.
It's kind of low.
Out of 5?
Out of 5. How often do you see, go to any anime that we
It's rare. I'll admit, it's rare.
It's kind of like when you like go out to eat and like you look on like TripAdvisor or something, and it's like, if it's a below 4 stars, like that is.
Yeah, they have rats.
Yeah, they have rats. Like you be served cockroaches. I don't think any show that we're watching currently says below 4.6.
No.
So Under Ninja is like, not everyone loves it. Apparently it's not doing well. It's a weird art style. It's pretty funny, weird plot. US first thing they did after. Oh yeah. So I said I probably won't be continuing it. Like I just like I don't. There's
You don't have to. No one's asking for it. You know.
That's the thing. I just wanted to check into it because I was like, I saw some momentum about it on TikTok, but like mostly it was just people like comparing the anime to the manga and how they were reducing the gore and all of that. Yeah. So it was just, I don't know. If it's your bag, have fun with it. It's just not for me.
You know what? Don't give me a fuck. What?
You always.
You know, well, I can never tell. You're an unstoppable force sometimes on the podcast.
Like, all you need to do is start talking and I'll shut the fuck up,
I'm just so afraid that you're like, God, Danny didn't let me get a fucking word in.
No. That's our thing. You start talking, I stop talking. I start talking, you stop talking.
That is a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it works.
But speaking of shows no one asked you to keep up with, Paradox Live is one that I, for no reason, someone DM'd me. I get DMs all the time recommending stuff I've never heard of. Every now and then, for no reason, I'll just do it. I'll ignore 99, and then the 100th, I'll be like, okay.
It's like day 400 of asking Danny to watch whatever the fuck. And you're like, all right, finally, today is the day.
Exactly. But so I checked it out. Super okay, but the premise and the art design, like the character models, really cool, kind of. So the premise is there is this, in the real world, there is this like multimedia group. It's like a bunch of like bands, kind of like pop bands, a bunch of real pop bands, but they all have like anime personas. And they're all competing against each other. So there are like 6 real pop bands comprised of like 24 musicians that are all like competing in this like fictional meta real whatever.
Gotcha.
And it's all run by the same thing. So it's really meta. It's really weird and Hunger Games-y kind of. And they made an anime about it. So the first episode is just like introducing 1,000 characters.
It's just like name soup. It's like cats. Yeah.
But so, first episode's very okay, but what's interesting, kind of fun, is one, it's a tournament anime.
Okay.
So that's bonus points.
Rap?
Yeah.
Just the Eminem, like, trailer. He's like, I
just
do live
8
in a
Mile.
trailer park.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, this guy gets to move on.
You love bringing up that.
I'm sorry, how
ending
many
scene.
other battle rap scenarios do you know, Daniel? We grew up in New England. Look at us. This wasn't our life.
But so, no, they're like competing for like $200 million or whatever.
I'm assuming yen, but yeah.
Yeah, yen. And it's this, round robin tournament of all of the groups. There's like 4 pop groups. And in the world, there's a metal that responds to like harmony and like melody. So they've like smelted down this metal, turned it into rings. And these pop groups will sing with the rings on, and it will like produce images. And so that is why the concerts have like crazy effects and
They got
shit.
a Patronus / like
they
Green
got
Lantern.
Patronus, bitch.
Yeah, it's like a Patronus Green Lantern ring that responds to their singing.
It's literally that.
That's wild.
And it makes me upset that they don't fight for real. I would love like a musical anime where they actually fight.
They came out with one.
Hypnosis Mike?
No.
Different one?
There was an anime that came out like 4 seasons ago, and it was based off of a mobile game. And
A
it
year, if you will.
What?
A year, if you will.
Yeah, like
4 seasons.
Yeah, it was like it was. Yes, that is how that works. It's like when I call like historical events canon.
Yeah.
My fucking brain it's cancerous. There was this. It was based off of a mobile game, and it was essentially that like there was conductors, and that they would have these weapons, but these weapons were like people, and they would control these weapons with like a conducting rod. And it's I do not remember what it's called. It is really fucking good though, and the entire thing is using music to
That sounds sick.
combat each other. And the main character is like this one-armed piano player. He has these 2 different kind of weapons. It's based off of a mobile game that you might have heard of. I do not remember what it's called. Chat, will you help me out here?
Weird anime. I have one-armed piano player
Attack
anime.
Op Destiny. Attack Op Destiny. That's it. Attack Op Destiny. Very good.
Yeah.
It's like 12 episodes. Highly recommend you look into it if you want like a musical anime where they battle against each other.
Wow.
So good.
I did a fucking TikTok on the trailer of this.
Really? And you never watched it?
Never watched
That
it.
sounds very Daniel,
I
actually.
do that so frequently. Wow,
You're like,
it was
wow,
good.
this trailer looks incredible. And then you completely forget that you ever made that goddamn video.
Interesting.
I'm surprised you followed up with Paradox Live because I
am
watched
too.
this spiel video of you being like, there's a ring.
Yeah. It's fine so far.
Weren't people upset about it? Didn't you make TikToks about people being upset about it?
No, well, so then what happened next week, and this is a Crunchyroll problem, apparently. I thought this was like a Zom 100-esque problem. By the way, did you hear they're maybe striking, and that's why Zom 100 isn't coming out?
Bug films or just all
Bug
animators?
Films.
Really?
Yeah.
Goddamn.
That's crazy. Ironic as hell, considering the show they're on.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
We're like,
It's so funny.
imagine writing a story, like animating a story about like hating work so much that you want the zombie apocalypse to happen, and they got inspired. That's you know what? That's why they gave it to a small studio.
Yeah.
Imagine they gave that to fucking Mappa.
Yeah.
You seeded that fucking idea in Mappa's head.
The fucking French Revolution Part 2 would
Dude,
have happened.
we wouldn't have seen the CEO at the next con. That's
Yeah.
for fucking sure. That would have fucking heads will roll in Japan.
That's so funny. But anyway, Crunchyroll episode 2 came out, and they had subs for every language but English for like hours, and no
read
one could
Spanish,
watch it.
you fucking rubes.
I know. I was like, maybe I just learned Japanese today.
Yeah, or just like, oh, come on. Just watch it at 75% speed. Remember some of your Duolingo. Figure out the context with Spanish. You'll be fucking fine.
But anyway, that's Paradox Live. Not much to talk about with it. I like the concept that's like, I like this weird meta narrative that's happening. Like, people will go to concerts of these fictional boy bands who are like competing against other fictional boy bands who are technically not fictional because they're real. But they're anime boys.
Oh, so they have personas that are like holograms on stage?
I think they do.
I feel like we're just explaining what is it? V Shoujo?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like the characters aren't real. It'd be like if the Jonas Brothers weren't real people.
Uh-huh.
But they still played concerts, and also like Blink 182 was like their
We're gonna
rival.
go fuck up Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, it was like their rival.
God, we need more boy band rivalries.
It's crazy, but it's all it's like this real world fictional, non-fictional canon.
I would love to see boy bands fight. I would. That would
check out this.
That would make me like physically fight,
Yeah,
like
I would
actually
too,
like
yeah.
like fuck each other up. That'd be
That'd be
really
right.
like if One Direction had to like in order to get to the top had to like fucking fight pretty much.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. That'd be fucking awesome. I would be like hell yeah. It would just like
Yeah.
it'd be a bunch of like Samoan 6.5-foot boy bands. And it just like music sucks when they keep curb stomping these 5'4" British dudes.
It's a requirement that you're fucking huge,
Yeah.
like Brock Lesnar is like taking off, like with The Rock as backup vocals.
Can't sing for shit, but he snapped a dude's spine at MSG.
What are you gonna do? Tell Batista he can't sing anymore?
You want me off stage? Beat me in a cage match, bitch. Holy shit, that would be incredible.
That'd be sick.
That would be so good. So I didn't watch Paradox Live because
That's fine.
I figured
Yeah.
you would tell me whether or not I should watch it.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, right now it's just an ad.
If there's an episode where you're like,
yeah.
that's it, get in, I'll hop right on in. But it
Yeah.
was like that. I was like, that's a Danny thing.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll leave that one to Danny because I wanted you to give me the pitch on it. And I was like you giving me the pitch on it would give our audience the pitch on it.
It's so okay.
If I could give a pitch on something else that I watched,
Yeah.
So I've been going through a lot.
Yeah.
There's so much going on this season.
So sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's too much going on this
Yeah.
season. So like I said, we've covered JJK, we've covered Shangri-La, we've covered Under Ninja. Dr. Stone is back.
Oh God.
Which, listen,
I have no negative opinions. I'm just like, fuck, we have news, we have this and that to talk about. Now Dr. Stone is taking up our time.
the way I'm about to absolutely speed run through all of this because Dr. Stone is back, and guess what? It's Dr. Stone.
Crazy.
There's fucking
Yeah.
there's a bad guy. Senku is like, oh, gotta science this bitch out.
Look, I get it. I know what it's about. There's a bunch of sick rocks. He has to make them feel better.
That's literally it. It's like everybody is now a rock again, and he's like, well, shit. We gotta unrock
gotta
these
put the
motherfuckers.
stethoscope back on because I am Dr. Stone.
Yeah, I am. Here I am doctoring these stones. It's literally exactly that. So it said, happy to have it back. Fun shenanigans episode.
Yeah.
Some hype moments with Kosaki and Ryusui being revived. Dr. Stone is the epitome of just like a feel-good anime.
Yeah.
Because like there's stakes, but it's never bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's always like, it's gonna get figured out. No one's gonna die. Right. There's gonna be a couple of funny moments. There's gonna be some titties.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some dudes running around naked and screaming. It's such a brain turn off anime, which is ironic because it's about fucking science.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But so it's back. It's the same thing. You know what else is back and is also the same thing? Tokyo Revengers.
I bet.
Yeah, so Tokyo Revengers is in a weird spot. One, I think Tokyo Revengers should be a case study of like how not to run an anime.
I was gonna say of how to absolutely assassinate hype.
Because, well, one, what the fuck happened? Like what? I actually have a theory. So Tokyo Revengers was the biggest anime on Earth for the first 24 episodes, right?
It's a huge manga too.
Yeah.
And then people started whining about the swastikas.
Well, first off, it's a manji.
I'm joking, by the way. Yeah.
Fully a manji.
Yeah.
For everybody who was like, oh, these guys are, I guess they have the German dictator in their group. It's a fucking manji. The Buddhists had it thousands of years before the Nazis.
Nick is Jewish.
I am Jewish. I fucking listen.
It just helps.
Hitler was a bad artist and not creative, all right? And those are the only two bad things.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's a joke.
Get me out of here.
My grandmother had to flee Europe.
This is why you sit in front of the door, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. My escape. No. So anyways, Tokyo Revengers is back. And I know why it died.
Yeah.
It went to Hulu.
I fucking hate. I thought about that when watching Undead Unluck. I fucking hate watching Hulu on anime.
Well, first off, one, you can't watch Tokyo Revengers in Japan. You can't. Like, it's like, so in Japan, there's a couple of different streaming websites, but like it might come out like on a weekly basis on like Japanese TV, but it's not available on Crunchyroll in Japan because like Crunchyroll by and large isn't available in Asia.
Yeah.
It's not available. Like Netflix is kind of where you get your streamed anime in Japan, and so now that Hulu has like bought Crunchyroll, Netflix can't have it anywhere.
Yeah.
And you cannot stream it on Hulu in Japan. So it's non-existent in Japan now.
Weird.
Because Hulu bought it. And Hulu was like, oh, we're gonna make this run outside of Japan. We're gonna make it super popular. When I went to Japan a couple of years ago, when Tokyo Revengers came out,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It covered everything.
Yeah.
Nowadays, fucking nothing.
Now it's Blue Lock.
Exactly. It's Blue Lock everywhere. It's but Tokyo Revengers was in metro stations, buses, like a huge poster ads. Nowadays, absolutely nothing. But it's just like it's back. Like it's the same thing. It was never great. That's the thing. It's like Tokyo Revengers probably had the most unjust hype of all time. Like I think Tokyo Revengers sitting at the current level of hype, like the Black Clover-ish level of hype, makes sense for it because it's not great.
No,
like it's not the best anime or manga in the world right now. Like it just simply is, and a lot of people blame the last arc, not the current arc. The current arc is the whatever incident.
You can say literally anything. I won't be able to.
The Kanto incident. But before this, it was like the Christmas arc or something, and like that is like the arc that people say killed it because like Mikey gets super like dire and drastic and starts killing people in the future, and everyone's like, oh, this isn't who Mikey is. He's supposed to be. Yeah, it's the whole thing, but. This season, it's more of the same. It's fucking, it's more of the same. It's good. Big new bad guy. I'm trying to read my notes.
Yeah.
Big new bad guy. Kisaki meddling. The future is fucked. That's it.
Nice.
It's like, apparently there's another future traveler. Kisaki's the main guy, and he's like, oh, the reason everything gets fucked every time we change it is because he travels to the future and undoes everything that we do.
Right.
So it's just Tokyo Revengers. It's more of the same. If you like Tokyo Revengers, you're gonna love this season. It's off to a really good start. Like it's the same thing though. It's like One Piece. Yeah. It's like, oh, we get to a new island. Luffy fucks up. Everybody has to cover for him. There's a big fight at the end. There's a party. We get on a boat. We go to the next island.
One Piece, famously low-key.
Yeah, super like always the same plot. We're truly repeating. People get so upset when I do that
comparing.
too. People get so upset when I do that, but like, all right, obviously One Piece does it much better. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
I like that you're just like, yeah, it's pretty mid. It's like One Piece.
It's like the greatest anime and manga of all time. You know, but like what I'm saying, it's formulaic. Like it's like we're gonna do the same thing. It's like. We're going to get to a new place. There's going to be a new guy who's meddling in the same thing. We have to beat him. We have to move to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's knocking dominoes down to get to the second domino. So Tokyo Revengers is back. Fucking watch it if you want to. The last thing I was going to talk about is Four Nights of the Apocalypse.
Right.
Which also I can't really talk about
what that looks like.
So Four Nights of the Apocalypse is animated by the people who did. So obviously the biggest issue with Seven Deadly Sins is that seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6 look awful, like so horrifically bad. But so Four Nights of the Apocalypse is the sequel written by the same person who does Seven Deadly Sins. Of like, I completely forget the characters' names, but it's like in the same universe. Arthur, like King Arthur Pendragon, is the main bad guy. These four Nights of the Apocalypse have to battle against him, and so like that's the whole thing. Is like it's in the same universe where Meliodas and Elizabeth all existed, but they're not like really around anymore. Like it doesn't revolve around them, but they changed animation studios, so now Four Nights of the Apocalypse actually looks really good. It looks like season 1 and season 2 of Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh, nice.
And that's because it's being animated by the people who did Lupin and Tower of God.
Oh, I hear Tower of God's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's like, it was like, so I think Crunchyroll does this thing where every year the top selling manhwa on like web novel gets like its own anime adaptation.
That's sick. Yeah.
So it was Tower of God, and then it was Tower of God, God of High School. I think that's why Soul Leveling is getting adapted. So it's like one manhwa always gets adapted every year from Korea. That's like a Crunchyroll thing. I don't know if Soul Leveling is actually going to be Crunchyroll. I genuinely don't remember. But
I don't know.
So that's why Tower of God got adapted, and it's really good. But so the studio that did Tower of God and Lupin, like all the Lupin movies, is doing Four Nights of the Apocalypse, and it looks really good. I didn't get to watch the episode though.
No?
It streamed in Japan on October 3rd. It's available on Japanese Netflix, but not on American Netflix or on Crunchyroll.
Damn.
And on Japanese Netflix, like sure you can watch it, but there's no English subtitles.
Right.
So it hasn't been subbed and it hasn't been dubbed. I straight up don't know if America's getting it.
Damn.
I don't know.
We'll get it eventually.
It came out. What's today? It's the 14th. It came out 11 days ago.
That's so weird. I ran into something similar with my best boy, where it's been coming out for like months. Yeah. Like almost a year, just hasn't been brought to America yet. Like it's been translated and shit. And we'll get into that later.
We can go right now. I mean, I'm all done. I mean, I could talk about briefly like Bleach's last 2 episodes, but whatever. Let's get to best boy.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think
skip it.
I've got, just for everyone in the chat telling us to talk about Danpo, we'll do that Wednesday. We got too much shit to talk about.
We'll cover Danpo. We'll cover Danpo when we get to it.
That'll be my cold open next time.
Absolutely.
My best boy is I always forget about the goddamn title of it.
I love that you had to close out of your frog.
God,
frog
I deleted it. I deleted it. Oh, fuck, no.
It's literally the sound of premature ejaculation. Like that should play every single time a dude shoots his shorts.
They're like, no.
Would you rather have that song play every time you come, or fuck, I'm trying to think of another one. That song. Would you rather?
I was gonna suggest we make this song the like theme music to Best Boy.
That would
so like,
be
should we
awesome.
get to the Best Boy? Let's do it.
Okay, here's it.
Yeah.
Would you rather take 2 inches off your penis or have that song play every time you come?
2 inches off
your penis.
What penis at that point? Are you crazy?
I'm fucking with pubes.
You fucking nuts. I gotta have something. In that case, can I put 2 inches onto my vagina at that point?
Sarah, get the strap on. I didn't want to hear the scoop. Scoop-a-doop-doop.
Fuck, I was gonna go with any alternate to the ejaculation one because I was like, I don't have the energy to do the dance after I come, and I gotta do the dance.
I love the
real rock in the hard place.
The concept of scaring the shit out of a woman into a one-night stand. Just like, oh no, that was lovely. You've been fantastic. I've been Daniel Model. See you later, Snookums.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Was this good for you? Do you need me to call an Uber?
It's just you'd have to be shooting ropes. You'd have to be shooting fucking ropes.
I'm exhausted.
Oh,
this
God.
episode sucks. This episode blows.
At least you slept last night.
My
best boy
is Gotcha Kuda.
The fuck?
Gotcha Gooch.
Oh, the thing. Gotcha Gooch. Ring the bell.
Ding, 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 baby. Ding, ding, ding. Nick spit all over. No. Nick just spit the rest out at this point.
Oh, fuck. Ow. Oh, I'm so sorry, Neutron. You can go. You can go. Oh, I'm panicking. Oh, fuck. Oh. I need to continue.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Your best boy. Best boy is the mom. All right, please. We need to stop. Okay. Ooh.
This sucks. I hate this podcast. I hate this shit.
Oh.
Fucking someone just sent in. What anime would you suggest I start?
You heard about Scoopy frog noises? The time I got reincarnated. The time I got reincarnated as Scoopy frog noises. We didn't sleep good. We didn't sleep good last night.
That's horrible.
Oh God. We have to write it now.
No, a great beginner's anime is.
It really picks up in the second season.
I'm not really into the arc that's like
I like when the main character says it's blim time. Oh,
thank you for the money, but fuck you. What timing? What horrible timing. Thanks, Rose, for the $2.
Thank you for the roses. Okay.
Okay.
time I got reincarnated as squibbity dimp the dimp plant.
Oh,
What? My best boy is Gotcha Kuda.
yeah.
It's like trash punk.
I love that.
It's like the Soul Eater guy really likes it. I don't want to do more podcasts anymore. I'm done. I'm so done. Like, it's like
Why do I keep drinking water?
it's like the Soul Eater guy really likes it, and it's like in a world where where there's too much trash. And there's trash people. I'm not joking.
The trash man.
There's trash people. It's getting really big in Japan. Art style's awesome. Let me show you. Gotcha Kuda. It's the art style is really cool. It's very Soul Eater looking. It
does look. Actually, it looks legitimately just like. Oh wow, no. It looks like
so
Fire
cool.
Force meets, because like the first chapter of the guy with the huge gloves, I'm like, that's a Fire Force character.
It's so cool looking. The art's incredible. It's like trash punk. It's so hard to explain. It's like in a world where like people just waste a ton of shit. Like, it's social class nonsense.
Yeah.
They waste a bunch of stuff. The main kid is like, he like collects trash and like repurposes it because he's like, this is fucked. People can still use this stuff. He's this edgy little punk, and like he lives in this district that used to be like Australia essentially, where it was like a criminal country, and everyone is like a descendant of criminals, and they're all trying to reform and get better.
Gotcha.
And everyone hates this kid because his parents were murderers in a time where everyone's trying to reform and prove that they're like, worthy of being like regular citizens.
To leave the trash continent.
To leave Trash Town, USA. It's cool. Anyway, I'm sick of this pod. Go on.
My best boy, actually, I was thinking of revising best boy to either be best boy or piss boy of the week. I think we have to incorporate. So I think like you can have a best boy or you can have a piss boy.
Is piss boy bad?
Yeah, piss boy is bad.
What the hell?
You don't want to be. Listen. When I brought up the fact that you were piss boy in front of Sarah, you didn't love it. So you understand that piss boy is not a good thing to be.
I'm being so discriminated against. Go on. Who's your piss boy?
So my piss boy of the week is not the Chinese government or Dorothy's Wi-Fi, because I was like dying of COVID in a room and like couldn't watch anything.
Okay.
That was written down in anger. Like on like day 2 of quarantine on my notes app, I was like, fucking
go piss boy.
Yeah.
This situation.
This fucking all of it. I was like VPN slowing my goddamn already slow Wi-Fi down.
Yeah.
My flashback for the week is that there's a Devil May Cry anime on the way.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah. There's like 15 seconds of a trailer. There's nothing to talk about.
It was the most like classic anime trailer of like, oh, here's like 3 still frames for you to look at and talk about.
You know what? You know what there is to talk about though? I found out the other day. The writer of it is the writer of OG Castlevania. That's why he didn't do Nocturne.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, not hype.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It'll be cool. It's
It'll be
Studio
fun.
Mirror. They're good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like also like an incredibly like rich and full universe.
Yeah.
It's like what, 5 games? Like,
Yeah.
It's already got an adapted fan base that's gonna watch it and love it.
Yeah. It's already got an anime.
What?
Yeah, like years ago. It had an anime.
What?
Yeah.
Never heard of it. I've
Not
also
good.
never played Devil May Cry. So
It's fun.
yeah. Also,
5 is really good.
Other news: the MHA fucking free for all. What is it? Battle Royale
yeah.
game came out.
Yeah.
Which looks actually
It looks
like
fun.
a lot of fun.
It looks very cool. I gotta play it. I've had no time. So many games are coming out. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Nothing matters
We have no
anymore.
time. We have no time to talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage. Fucking Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, the DLC needs to be covered. Yeah.
I like Assassin's Creed.
it's a DLC.
I know it
it's
is.
a $50 DLC.
I know it is. There's a lot. Spider-Man.
moving too fast for the fucking. Oh, that's why he needs to teleport between all these systems. So stupid.
Don't use my TikToks against me.
So stupid. Yeah, of course. But it's dumb.
It's dumb. It's annoying. But Spider-Man 2 comes out on the 20th. I'll play that.
Fuck you. I don't give a shit.
I like Spider-Man.
I never had a PS5. I don't care.
That's tough. You have one now though. You can play
I have
it.
PS4.
You're 5, don't you?
I do not have a PS5.
Really?
I don't.
Wow.
Too expensive.
Oh.
too expensive. Oh, these were all given to me.
Well, that's true.
And Jiraiya, which was taken from me.
The second you looked out, please.
Please don't bring him up.
We've been dabbling with, I shouldn't out us, but with Patreon content. If we did video game stuff, we've been thinking about doing like for members and patrons when we do a Patreon, doing like a weekly or bi-weekly Let's Play that only patrons get to see. That'd be a good one to do.
Yeah, no, that's like why I was bringing it up. Because I was like, that's what we have to play.
That'd be great.
It looks fun as fuck.
It looks very cool, and it's great that you haven't played it, because when we played Phasmophobia briefly, that was the most intense and intimidating time, because you're like neurotic, I have to know everything about this came out. Yeah,
I also I was streaming back then. That was like while I was still streaming. When I'm not actively streaming to people, I am a completely different person.
Nice.
I don't give a shit. I'll like shoot the shit in the wind and just have fun.
I'm hyped to maybe do that.
Yeah.
My news, new Dragon Ball anime got a trailer. What'd you think?
Boy, are people excited.
How?
People are hyped up.
How?
Wow, are people talking about it? There's words being said about it. Yeah.
Go on.
People are like Toriyama. This is a man who understands what the fans want. That is, listen, if I had an incredibly rich, well fleshed out, wildly popular IP, I too would be like, what do the fans want? Oh, the continuation to the manga? Let's give them babies. Have we considered babies?
Yeah.
Let's give them babies.
Let's give them GT2, as a lot of people are calling it.
People loved GT.
Love GT, famously.
Everyone was like, wow, I wish we would bring back Oob as well. Like, why don't we have Oob here?
Get Oob in
He
here.
was great to have around. Yeah.
Get Ooby Scooby.
Ooby Scooby. And they're just going to go on a little misadventure. You know? It's like everyone's favorite Dragon Balls are GT and then original Dragon Ball. Those are the ones everyone talks about. People aren't talking about the fan animation that was made over a year ago by one guy.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Legends.
That was like the last good Dragon Ball. No. People don't want cool and unique variations to their power-ups. They want chibi. Everybody wants chibi. It's like a certain toy company being like, what do we want with our Naruto IP? Oh, we want to make them cats. Let's make them cats.
Yeah.
And should we do a Minato story? We could write a story about them as cats.
I know.
Yeah, of course. Let's do
Cats
that.
are in right now.
Cats have always been in.
Yeah, I hate Toriyama. He so doesn't understand why Dragon Ball Z was popular.
Yeah.
Super's trash. I don't care what anyone says. I'm so sick of transformations that are meaningless and just recolors. And everyone's like, they've always been recolors. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Base form to Super Saiyan, so different, so sick. Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 3, way different, super sick.
Super Saiyan 2, though.
Just lightning, but like whatever. Fusion, super cool.
Yep.
Do more of them, please.
Yep.
It sucks. You know how
even Super Saiyan God was just a recolor.
Yeah.
And then
Super Saiyan Blue, just a recolor of Super Saiyan.
Ultra Instinct, just a recolor of base.
Yeah. Hate it. You know how every other week you are begging our fans to fly to Japan and murder Hayao Miyazaki? You know, you're always telling them, please kill Hayao Miyazaki.
I just think if he would want to die,
bed.
He would want to die at our hands. Yeah.
I want someone to kill Akira. I don't. I feel so on edge just doing that joke.
No.
I don't.
Incredibly felonious, but the best place to bomb the president's.
I so don't want somebody to get a garrote, a little piano wire. I don't want them to put that piano wire through a little glass tube, a easily breakable glass tube, put it around his neck, and then you have the glass tube will break, so it makes little shards in his neck. And so you can easily saw through his neck with the wire and the glass shards. I don't want that to happen.
Incredibly felonious, wildly illegal thing to say. But if you were going to do it, here's his address.
Yeah. Nobody send hate mail either or death threats. I'm very genuinely against death threats. However, I fucking hate Akira Toriyama at this point.
You have to assume he is the most, like, I lucked my way into it man of all time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're the only anime podcast brave enough to say I hate Akira Toriyama.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is that a thing people are saying?
No one will say it.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
That's what I'm saying. We're the only one brave enough to say it.
Yeah.
He's like just
his editors carried him through Z.
He's just bumbled his way to success. And people are like, Dragon Ball's good. Like, yeah, Dragon Ball has its fans. I don't know. I haven't read Dragon Ball.
Oh, I thought you meant like Dragon Ball proper.
OG.
It's fine.
It has its fans. People like it. There's no argument to be had that Z is the more popular and more beloved version. Like, there's just no argument there. And he just, like, doesn't get why people like Z.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It is crazy.
Anyway, that's my news. Also, the trailer for Omni-Man in Mortal Kombat came out.
And there's a train scene fatality, which is sick.
Hype.
That's really
I didn't think they'd do that. It's really cool.
And his other one is a squishy head, which is fine. It's like, oh, cool. You blew up his head. Whatever.
Yeah. And that's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. The train one is sick, though. That's really cool. But okay, that's everything we got. Oh, wait, we have to do a love letter, don't we? To do a love letter.
By the way,
can we save love letters for next week?
No, love letters.
All right, guys.
In the meantime, I'm wearing merch.
Yes,
that doesn't exist.
Merch.
I'm wearing unreleased merch. This will never get released because this hat
doesn't look great.
Terribly.
Yeah.
This is us. This was my front design. Looks great, despite what Nick said.
It looks good.
I love it. This is the low res version too.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks real good.
We'll get this and we'll get a back design for you fucking Chub boys.
Yeah, for you hipsters and like fashion and such.
Why are you wet all over the chest?
What do you mean?
You have been for so long.
I spit water all over myself when I was seizing.
It's you're spit boy.
It's fully, I'll wear.
Spit boy, yeah. Make it catch on, everybody. It's sweeping the nation.
That's what always causes things to catch on. Telling people that's in.
It's like, cool.
It's
hip. Spit boy. Spit boy's in.
Mouth
not
piss.
Piss boy.
Piss boy is out.
God, what do you fuckers want to ask us?
So this is the part of the show when me and Danny ask our live audience for a question that we answer, and that is referred to as love letters. Love letters gives you guys a chance to interact with us and get a question that you have wanted to ask me and Danny live. Gives you the answer to ask those kind of questions. So all you have to do that is to become a YouTube member at either $4.99 or $5.99 to be Team Nick or Team Danny. Danny is currently gathering questions from our incredible live YouTube members. So Daniel, give me a love letter.
Hero goes, I do not like baseball cap Danny.
I don't mind it. Like I said, you do look like beer is a big part of your life. Like you look like you...
I need a haircut.
You look like you peaked in a frat. Like, yeah, it's definitely giving, like, my dad drives a Mercedes.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. I don't like it. Like, it looks cute. Like, it works for a lot of middle America.
I'm trying my best, but, you know...
I think it makes you look younger.
It's not good enough for Hero. I thought so, too. All right, let's see.
Blazion asks, what's your least favorite thing about your favorite anime character? And what's your favorite thing about your least favorite anime character? So my least favorite thing about my favorite character, who's Meruem, favorite character of all time, is probably the fact that he just dies at 40 days old. Like, I would have loved for Meruem to have more moments to, like, actually grow into a character that exists in the universe. But, like, obviously he gets nuked out by Netero using a heart bomb. So, like, I think Meruem is a perfect character and his arc is really interesting. I think his arc is better with him dying because it's like, oh, he grew from a monster into a human and found love at the last moment of his life. And that's great.
Yeah.
But I would have liked it if he was around for longer. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you give me so much character development of this one character and then you just like snatch him away from me. Like, cool, just started feeling for him. Would have liked for him to stick around.
Do you have a least favorite thing that, like, is their personality? Like, what tweak do you want, like, removed from Meruem?
If I had to change one thing about Meruem that, like, oh man, no, I don't. Maybe Meruem's a bad example because I love it.
That's why it's hard. That's why it's so hard.
Like, there's nothing I dislike about Meruem's, like, character arc or anything like that. I guess, okay, here's another one. Inosuke is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about Inosuke too. Okay.
Should I not steal Inosuke from you?
Go on.
You know what? Fine. No, I'll change it up. I'll go with Gon. Because Gon is also one of my favorite main characters of all time. So Gon, I love as a main character. And a lot of people find him uncompelling because he's so childlike.
Right.
And like, he's like, oh, like he's just kind of boring. Like he doesn't have this dark side of all that. And like, not until like the Chimera Ant arc do we really see that like he like actually has this dark human side to him. And I like that like with the Chimera Ant arc, we've got to that arc finally. But after the Chimera Ant arc, it kind of feels as though that like, so the entirety of Hunter x Hunter is going building towards this moment of like human realization that the world has protected him from the darkness of reality for so long. And then after that, like, it's like, okay, we kind of sweep that entire growth period under the rug because after the Chimera Ant arc, he gets to meet his dad. And it's like all of the growth that he underwent is swept under the rug because not only does he lose his Nen, but also like he's no longer the main character of the story. So it's super weird. That's like the one beef I do to have with Hunter x Hunter is like we give this main character all of this growth, all of this time to give this like full circle story, which I actually really appreciate. But then the second that we give them the payoff to what would be their character development journey, instead of taking that character and them growing with the world through this new worldview, they're just gone.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of like, it's like the fact that we cut Gon at the moment of his realization, that is probably my least favorite thing about his character.
Yeah. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I guess if I go Tanjiro, my least favorite thing about Tanjiro, which, oh man, it's tough. I'll restate it for the TikTok, but like, I think my least favorite thing about Tanjiro, who's like one of my favorite characters in anime, which is really highlighted in season 3, the Swordsmith Village, is that like, he is growing, but I want him to like, personality-wise, I want something to affect him and stick with him. Like, the Swordsmith Village arc, even though a lot of people say is, like, kind of mundane, it feels like it's just, like, spinning its wheels, I think a big part of it is that it's sort of Tanjiro going off on his own. Like, he doesn't have his backup, he doesn't have his friends, he doesn't really have a Hashira to help him, because Tokido's, like, hung up with another demon. But I wish he, like, when he fought Daki, he had a brief moment where he was like, why are you like this? And she's like, this is my backstory. And he's like, I don't care.
I could give a shit.
Yeah, like, usually, and that was, like, a big moment of growth for him, because usually he was like, oh, every demon deserves respect and reverence. I would love to see him lose his smile in the way that Yuji allegedly does. Like, because that Daki moment made me think he was so back to the wall, so pressured, that I wanted to see a little more. And maybe it just hasn't fully happened yet, because he does get his like psycho smile in Swordsmith Village.
Yeah.
And he's a little sadistic, but I want to see him like, I want an event to happen where he is almost like, I don't give a shit, and Inosuke or Zenitsu have to be like, you need to evaluate things because you are not acting like yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I want Deku's villain arc.
That you won't get it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, in a more literal sense, I'm done there. But like you do get it to a small degree.
Gotcha.
But I feel that like Tanjiro is kind of a character who ends the same way he started.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're a soft boy who's like incredibly nice to everybody around you. You're very respectful. You find this like compassion for these characters who tell you their backstories, but at the same time, like they've killed hundreds of people. And I think he comes to that realization more and more because as he gets higher in the upper moons, right? Like you've killed more and more people to get the amount of blood you have from Muzan. So like, I feel like he has less and less sympathy for the upper moons, and therefore, like Rui, I think he was lower moon number 5. Like he was able to feel sympathy for like him and all of the other like spiders he was controlling because a lot of them became spiders non-voluntarily. Like they weren't like bad people. Like a lot of them were in that situation non-voluntarily. So like he gave mercy to the spider mother, right? Because like she was like abused by Rui the entire time, and obviously he's not the one who kills Rui. Rui's killed by Gyotaro.
Yeah.
Gyotaro?
No,
not
Tanjiro kills Rui.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Cuts his head off.
No.
Yes.
No. It's the one with the multicolored cloak. The water Hashira.
No.
No?
Tanjiro does Hinokami Kagari
On
Rui.
Are you sure?
That's like the big famous moment of season 1.
Is it not?
I think he cuts his head off. And Nezuko helps.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the water Hashira showed up.
I don't believe he did.
I thought it was...
I don't think Kigoyo or something.
What is his name?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Something. But here's, a revised version of what I'm saying. I wish Nezuko died. My least favorite thing about Tanjiro is that Nezuko didn't die. Because I want, in all of my favorite characters in anime, my least favorite thing is a lot of them don't truly sacrifice something. Like Tanjiro struggles. He's not a Mary Sue. Like he struggles. He earns what he gets.
Yeah.
I would love to see him have to like actually deal with the consequences of that choice he makes at the end of season 3. And the fact that like Nezuko comes back and he doesn't, and it's not even like a, oh my God, I almost just let my sister die.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't grapple with that. He gets it a little with Rengoku, but I wish Nezuko was gone.
That's
like,
that's a great addition.
Yeah.
What I want from my character to change is that they lose their little sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Just fucking
more loss.
Gone. Yeah, more loss, more trauma for sure. What is very quickly?
Well, no, I think we should save that one for next week.
Okay.
I think it's a good question that deserves its own extrapolation, and I want to sit on it for a week.
Okay.
So that is everything that we have, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you for hanging out with us, checking in with us for another week. Me and Danny are back together, and we're never leaving each other ever again. But thank you guys for checking in. Thank you guys for watching live. Those of you who did, that was very nice of you. We appreciate you being here. If you guys want to check in live with us every single week, go ahead and head to our YouTube, become members for either $4.99 or $5.99. And like Danny hinted at, we are also in the process of creating a Patreon. So if you guys ever want to possibly find an effort platform to, support us or possibly get more content, we're going to be doing some things like maybe some interviews or maybe some Let's Plays or reactions or other things like that, where me and Danny are going to make additional content and put that on Patreon. Not exactly a thing that we've worked out in its entirety quite yet. That might also be a YouTube member thing. We're kind of in the process of feeling it out and figuring out what's going to be best for you guys and best for us as well. Make sure you're supporting all the other platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. If you have any questions, tweet them at Otakus on Twitter. I've been NC Hammer 23, also known as the Weeb Commander. And Daniel, you've been?
I've been Danny Motta, otherwise known as DMotta3 on TikTok. Come check out my own YouTube page if you'd like to see me talk about Bungo Stray Dogs or Black Butler or Soul Eater very soon. Just exhausted.
Yeah.
This was an exhausting pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Also, look forward to this merch coming out soon.
Big sticker merch coming out.
Big shirt merch.
Big shirt. Well, it's like sticker shirt.
Yeah,
merch. If you want our faces in chibi style, then boy, oh boy, do we have merch for you.
Woo!
Bye, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Mwah.